Welcome everyone to the 10th session of Rewriters of History. Technically 11th because we missed, because there was a problem with the recording of the previous session. We're going to do a very quick summary and then we're going to introduce our new player and his character. So, what did we do? Does someone want to do the summary of the major moments?
I have like a vague memory of what happened, but my memory is also just super shit.
It would have been the one where we started off with the horrible fight against the jackal.
Yes.
Did we end up killing the
jackal? That almost got Oliver killed. Yes.
Yeah.
But he also almost killed
That's
Palakiko.
right. That's right.
We managed to save his, or you managed to save his life. Well, Oliver started panicking. That ended up with us going back to the observatory.
A couple of things. First of all, Kawa was had been deeply wounded, but you managed to stop the loss of blood, and you waited until sunrise for his magical tooth to be able to heal him. And also, before you went back to the observatory, you had to decide what you were going to do with the parrots before you burned.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
I forgot about that.
The entire place down. So you used the jackal's name because you found out it was illegal to ship them. You used the jackal's name to ship them and hopefully to get them back into safe hands after they were caught at the post office. And then you returned to the observatory.
Yeah, after burning down the house and making it very clear that there are actually landmines in this piece of property.
Just a casual backyard.
Yeah.
You returned to the observatory in time to see that Professor Selina Murray was tightening security after the previous events on the observatory, which meant that you were going to be under 24-hour surveillance. No one from the Hermes was allowed to leave the observatory, and you had to stay with the fourth person who was suspected by the jackal, Lisbeth, at all times, and you had your quarters moved next to each other. Fortunately, Alice and Melfi had an idea to try to erase suspicions that you were the rewriters.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Her awesome idea, which didn't have any flaws and went perfectly according to plan, was for your characters to go to sleep. There were cameras in your room, so you had to pretend to go to sleep, start rewriting the verse during the night, and do it as fast as possible so that by the time your alarm clocks started the next morning, you would be back in your bodies and able to say, yeah, we rewrote something, and something was written while we were sleeping, so it couldn't possibly have been us. So you went into you went back into the past of what's his name, Aleister Crowley, but unfortunately you brought Lisbeth's Archon brought her alongside because she was near enough to you, and you managed to convince her to not rat out on you. And you even found out her Archon wanted you to get her to take over her body thanks to your help in exchange for keeping your secret, which you did anyways.
We were ported into a time when he was inaugurated to some bigger circle, and there was a trial that was put upon him, and I was in his body. So the place was strange because we can clearly see when somebody is lying or telling the truth, and that has something to do with how we will be judged. But I'm not sure, did we play it exactly as he did in the past, or we changed something?
You obviously changed something because it
We
wasn't
changed
written
something,
in
we are not
Swedish.
sure what, yeah?
Yeah.
Since the sky now is different, and which resembles that something was changed in history. And when we were getting out of this, let's say, the trip, we have a metaphysical glance into the world beyond and to the, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a very short summary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, in order to enter a new mystical order that he historically belonged to, Aleister Crowley had to go through a sort of trial in a temple where mystically it was possible to see when people were telling lies because the aura around them would darken whenever they told a lie. And basically, different people came to air their grievances at him, including members of different cultures who were accusing him of having appropriated their culture for his own mysticism. But also this person, Ezefoth, who turned out to be a strange entity inhabiting a body that was trying to get him back to helping them. You started researching her as soon as you came back into the real world because that was a strange encounter. You don't know much about her, but basically by telling the truth enough times and by saying that by revealing their names, by revealing that he was really, that it wasn't Aleister but that he was Stefan, you managed to get the door that was responding to the truth or lies to open up, and you entered a cavern in which the characters were hearing hearing our conversation, the players' conversation, like pan out, which was a very weird experience, especially when you were saying I do this and your characters started doing things as the voices were describing. But you managed to leave this verse and come back to your bodies and return to normal. After which you all had some time. I think Oliver, you started you finished the robot the killer robot you've been working on. It's almost done, but you need you don't have an artificial intelligence. You haven't programmed this, but the physical body is done. I think Stefan, you were researching Ezefoth, and you found out that it was close to a name of a dark entity in the Cthulhu mythos. And I forgot what Philip was doing, but basically, I think you were trying to get Kawa back to his normal job.
That sounds accurate.
Okay. All right, and we're going to begin this new game soon, but we have a new player. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and then about your character?
My name's Jeff. I'm 53, retired ex-military, currently work in security. I've gamed for about 4 decades, and I just love it to death. Got my son into gaming as well. He doesn't do it that much, but that was pretty cool. So now I work graveyard shift, so I'm free days. This is my day off, and very glad to have actually found a game that's not Dungeons and Dragons. I like Dungeons and Dragons. I've played it to death. So I like other games, and when I found a game that I actually had never heard of, I was like, wow, I really must check this out and and see. And I watched your guys' videos. I watched 2 of those YouTube videos. So I was watching when Simon actually sent me the message inviting me. So here I am.
Welcome.
That's me. Thank you. My character, Chris Catman, he's 27. He is a extremely accomplished martial artist. His style is capoeira. He's also a very enthusiastic parkour practitioner as well. He has graduated from college, and he teaches languages. He speaks 6 of them: Portuguese, Spanish, French, Latin and Hebrew. So he does some freelance translating. He's currently working at the university in Rio de Janeiro. So he's pretty easy for anyone who looks into his file to discover those elements of him. He's single, never been married, very into his work and into his physical training and athleticism.
I do have one question. He speaks all those languages, but does he speak English?
Yes.
Yes. He's an English teacher mostly at his university.
That could have been unfortunate.
Yeah, multilingual, but cannot speak the one language that all the other players speak.
No, I teach English to all the people who speak the other languages, so that's how I pick up languages. I learn a language, I go there, I'm teaching them English while I'm mastering their language and learning their dialects and how to best facilitate sounding authentic, not like that. Sometimes you can tell somebody has learned it strictly from, education and the actual way people talk is all different.
That's so cool. I love it.
All right. So your characters, at the end of the previous session, I had mentioned that something was going on that had to do with hacking among secret societies. I toned it down just a little bit. I changed it just a little bit to ensure that. So I'm gonna do explain what this scenario is going to be about all over again real quick. So basically, there was a site. There was a university that has Neo Hermes in it. It's the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. The site got hacked very recently, and information that was stored on encrypted computers of a group of Neo Hermes was revealed to the world on a forum. Basically, the place was hacked very quickly. Information was retrieved, decoded, and put out on the web. So this site is compromised. Basically, secret societies who come across this forum might learn about the secrets of this place and try to capture all of the members of the Neo Hermes that belong there, especially the Hermes. And so the place has been currently evacuated, and the only person who was next to one of the computers during the hack was someone who is not even a member of the Neo Hermes, but instead someone who was in the process of being initiated, someone who doesn't even have any knowledge of the supernatural. It's this Chris Catman. So some Neo Hermes have come forward to ask you to help because, after all, Oliver Hill is, in the year 2000, one of the best hackers, one of the best connoisseurs of hacking. It was one of the reasons he was recruited. So his expertise is needed for this. And because this might involve more than just hacking, your entire team is being asked to intervene by the Neo Hermes, and they're providing a cover mission with the Hermes, so that you're basically they made it so that the Hermes are also asking you to go to this university and find out if any of the Neo Hermes are still there. So basically, you're being sent by both organizations to investigate this. And we start with the first scene, right after your jet-lagged characters finally make it to the university grounds, and you're led by a Neo Hermes to meet with Chris Catman, who saw the entire hack. So you finally end up you're going to be in a classroom that has computers in them. What we're going to... Chris, why don't you describe what your character looks like physically as you first encountered the group?
His build is very much that of a gymnast. He's just over 6 foot tall, probably about 180, 190 pounds. Very short black hair, clean shaven. He wears, even though he wears nicer clothes when he's at school, they're definitely loose fitting. for freedom of movement. And he's probably at this point standing or sort of crouching in front of a computer grading papers, unless I was told that they're actually here. But assuming I don't know that they arrived at this moment, that's most likely what I'd be doing.
Yeah. You were still working when the person who was going to initiate you comes into the room and says, "Oh, they're here to ask you a couple of questions, if you could." And Phil, why don't you describe what your character looks like right now with the jet lag and everything?
Yeah. Philip he probably looks pretty tired. He's fairly young, pretty fit, looks like he doesn't belong in such a scholarly place, and also just looks like he is pretty much like The Walking Dead with how tired he is. He's been through hell and back in the past couple of days.
All right. Bear in mind, this is before 2001, so the rules for what you can carry on a plane are still pretty loose around here. So, did you bring any of your usual weapons with you, and are they visible?
They wouldn't be visible, but I would absolutely bring them. After everything that went down, I take any protection I can get.
All right. Stefan.
Well, my character is his pullover, and he's chewing on peanuts that he brought from the plane. Also, now he has a few points in technology, so he was spent reading all of the shortcuts from the computer magazines, and now he's just murmuring to himself, like Alt Tab, Alt Enter, Control Alt Tab.
Like every person at my workplace.
And he's an old person, so yeah.
You need to spend 4 experience points to have the domain computers to go with technologies, because it's not automatically included.
I have a few to spare. So new domain.
Oliver definitely mentioned Alt F4.
Alt F4, yeah,
that's the solution to all of your problems.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oliver,
you got me there.
What an ass! I love it.
Hold on, I have to Google this. I don't know what's happening. Oh, okay.
Alt F4 just closes whatever.
Just try it. No, just try it.
I'm in the middle of GMing a professional game, and you're like, okay, go ahead, quit your computer.
Try it.
What does Oliver look like?
Oliver is wearing a fairly nice suit. It's got a bow tie. He looks fairly young, and at the moment he has a beard.
Right.
Oh, fancy.
Okay. Real quick, just before we begin, we use the veils and lines system in order to avoid breaching any subject that might be difficult for players. So, Chris, do you know about the system or not? I think you might be muted.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Okay, so basically, lines are subjects that we don't want to have in our game at all, because it can be trouble some audiences and some of us. And veils are things that we're okay with being in the game, but we don't want to go into too much description. So far with this group, the lines that we have are child abuse and rape. Basically, this doesn't happen in our game. And the veils are vomit, torture, and sex. Basically, we're okay with those things happening to the characters. It's just we don't go into full details. Is there anything you'd like to add to all of this to feel comfortable in this game, or are you fine with the way they are right now?
That's fine. Nothing offends me. I'm ex-military. There's nothing you're even capable of doing that would offend me. So, and I can all of those. I don't like those either. I like, play the flirt, and then we go back to the room. That's enough said, right?
Faded dark.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, this weird group of mismatched people who are all from different ages and builds and wearing Oliver is wearing something very expensive, and Stefan is wearing something
expensive. It just looks kind of expensive.
But as opposed
Style
to
icon.
Yeah.
as opposed to Stefan's old professor clothes, you're really mismatched. This group of people have arrived, and yeah, you're supposed to tell them what you saw during the hack. So how do you?
I'll walk up to him and extend my hand. Hi, I've been expecting you. I'm Chris Catman, and I hold it out in general to the group for whoever chooses to take it first.
I will take it. Nice to meet you. My name is Stefan Lisowski.
Nice to meet you.
I'll hold out my hand as well whenever Stefan's finished and say, my name's Jack.
Nice to meet you, Jack.
I'll hold out my hand and shake yours as well and just say, I'm Philip. Good to finally meet you.
Finally meet you.
Or, I don't know, did you say that we were expecting you? I might have made that up in my head.
You knew you were going to meet someone who had who had been near one of the computers during the hack and who had seen what was happening on screen.
And was about to be indoctrinated, but hadn't yet. So I suppose you probably would know that you know a bit more about me than I know about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that he doesn't have an aura of...
yeah, he doesn't have any karma.
Aww.
Well, don't mount karma is a bitch, so...
Yeah. You know what they say.
Also, wait, you don't have any points in clairvoyance, if I remember character creation correctly. You don't have any points in clairvoyance. You're not able to see supernatural energies at all. So your character wouldn't be able to see, that they're special in any way. But yeah. So what do you do?
So I mean, how was your flight, or do you want to just jump right in?
Let's just go for it.
All right, so over here, and I turn and walk into my office over there. And so I was on my computer. I was grading papers. And first I should say, I know how my way around a computer, but I'm no expert. So, but all of a sudden, files were opening and closing and moving around, at a speed that I haven't ever seen a person be able to do it. I don't know what it was, but this was not just, some college prank or some student trying to, go in and mess around with their grades. This was something just at an unbelievable rate of things opening up. And like I say, opening, closing, dozens at a time. You're welcome to look at the computer. If any of you know more than I, maybe you can detect anything that might have been left over as a result of it. I just kind of gesture at the computer.
Yeah. We'll look at Jack.
Oh, yep. Jack will take a look at it.
So now we're going to remember your fake name.
Go ahead and roll technology.
Oliver hasn't even rolled subterfuge for it, so he's not really putting all that much effort into it either.
Wow, 29 in technologies. Okay, that's really good.
I'm good at that now.
Yeah, no, this
Hacker voice, I'm in.
Okay, so you you start having a look at this computer, and basically it's really weird because you, with all of your skills, you're really good, but you can't find any trace of security breach. You know, like you check all of the virus protection software. They didn't even raise an alarm at the time of the hack, which was earlier yesterday. You know, and it's just it's weird because you know that like you should be able to find a trace, and the fact that you can't makes you feel that you're up against something that's very, very good, possibly better than, possibly beyond the level of human when it when it comes to hacking.
But not beyond the level of Jack, because there's nothing beyond that.
I mean, considering, yeah, sure.
But because you have the access codes, you do have access to the files that might have been breached. They're all encrypted, but you're able to have a look at them. And there's the list of neo-Hermes that work here and that are recruiting people in this university. And there's a lot of there's a few other documents, including the fact that including one document that is mentioning another university in France, La Sorbonne, which has a group of Hermes in their recruiting. This group have been discovered by members of the Neo Hermes in the Rio de Janeiro University. So that's where. So yeah, that's one of the informations that have been compromised.
Do I know anybody from Sorbonne? Maybe a colleague or a neo-Hermes? Or...
You might, if you want to obtain information from a potential contact, you would have to tell me what your
let me see it. Yeah, the network. Yeah.
With university is.
Network. It's 8.
Okay, it's 8. All right. Do you have the domain French? Because it's Sorbonne. Because it's in another country of a language you might not speak. You get a penalty to your network when trying to get contacts from those countries if you don't have the language.
I have Latin, but not French.
Okay. So you have a small penalty. So that brings you to 5. Let me have a look. All right.
Is that something that he's doing on the computer?
No, I'm just
okay.
Asking if I know somebody from Sorbonne.
No, but you're going to have contacts in universities in Paris that might help you. But not directly in that specific university. All right. So, Jack, what do you tell the rest of the group about what you've?
In front of Chris, not much. Just that there's no evidence of any breach in this computer. And it's pretty much a dead end. We'll have to find some other means of tracking this thing.
You said that there was some files
private. In private, I will mention that it was linked to the university in France, where their data was also stolen about the Neo-Hermes group there.
I will ask Chris, young man, is this your computer?
Well, it's the school's computer. I have my own laptop that I bring, but generally I just used this computer while I was here, and I was on that computer when the hack occurred. So, but I mean, this is where it all links back to a server, the computer lab area. Would it help if you were to go right into that and search? Would that help?
Yeah, probably. We can check the IPs who connected to a server, or if there are any outside connections. And what time do you say this was happening?
No.
We can maybe check logs and see if there were any outside IPs that were connecting to the server or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So Oliver, you're able to do this with your scoring technologies. You find that there were a couple of people who were connected. One of which had a signal that was bouncing off from different locations, and you try to track it. But since the signal isn't connected anymore, you don't know where it ends up, basically.
Okay.
Yes, you, Chris, you are aware that these people are part of the Neo Hermes, and they are aware that you were in the process of being initiated.
Okay, so then I will, before we leave the office, I will mention to them. So I did see this other organization that flashed across my screen when the hacking was going on. It was, yeah, I'm guessing, is that the one that you were going to tell me that it was the one in France?
Yes.
Okay, and it was a university in France that somehow through here they gained access to, I guess there might have been information about the organization there. So that one may also be compromised as well as the one here.
Basically, the hacker could have learned that they were could have learned about this group of Hermes through the hack of the university you're currently at.
Yeah.
Did we get any instruction from the Hermeses or Neo Hermeses about Chris? Did we get any instructions from the top? What should we do about Chris? Or was it Hermes' or Neo Hermes' instructions?
Okay, so your instructions from the Neo Hermes are basically try to find who did this hacking and how to prevent it from happening again, because currently everyone whose names was put out by this hack have to basically completely uproot their lives and leave. Because they're in danger, because their names are out there and they're in danger. The Hermes asked you to find out if any of the people with those names were still around and just capture them, interrogate them. Like Oliver is.
It's kind of Oliver's job now.
Yeah, it's your job now. So.
And Chris was applying for Hermeses or Neo Hermeses?
Neo Hermes. He wasn't applying. He was being applied.
Sure. Yeah.
But right now, the person who should have been his mentor is skipping town to an unknown location.
So we don't have a contact in Sorbonne with Neo Hermes' cell, or
no.
Well, we can call. Well, I don't know who is Neo Hermes anymore. Selena is not. Do we know anybody at top of us who is Neo Hermes except my diva?
There isn't exactly someone who's like on top. It's all different. Like it's all cells like yours who are organized and who work together. So like it's not that you receive instructions about this case. It's more that every single cell of Neo Hermes that has files and computers is in danger. So they're asking you because your cell has a good hacker to take care of this.
And what should be a way? How should we contact the other cell? Like, for example, in Sorbonne, is there any kind of protocol or?
If you have contact, if you have enough in influence or network, you will know people there and know how to contact them. And usually there's the secret handshake that we mentioned in the previous sessions that allows people to identify themselves as part of this organization.
Well, I'm not sure what should we do except travel to there and try to find somebody from a cell and figure out if they had an attack or they were compromised. And so, Chris, you didn't receive any kind of, well, I won't say order, but any kind of advice from your mentor before he left?
Just that he was departing and that you were going to come to investigate, and they were concerned that they might be attacked, and I am fairly comfortable that I didn't have to worry about them coming after me to attack me. Maybe I could assist you if something happened while you were here.
I mean, actually, you were told, because your name was part of the was on the computers as someone who was a potential recruit. You are also potentially dated, because you know at least the person who was trying to recruit you. You know at least his name and his face. So it's a way to find him. If you were captured, you might contribute to finding him. So you're also
No, I mean, not that I wasn't concerned that there might be an attack, just that if an attack did occur, I'm confident in my ability to deal with being attacked. So one of the reasons why I was willing to stay to help you guys, and then at this point, I guess whatever you need, I mean, until it gets resolved, my status is somewhat on hiatus here. So, I mean, I'm at your disposal. I'd be more than happy to go with you. But, I mean, that's up to you. I don't, it's not really my place to, I don't want to force myself on you or force my assistance on you, but I am willing to go if you could use it.
Your help is welcome. It's very brave. Foolish, but brave, I must say. And Jack, do you think you can go also through these files and see what possible information they got? Or what names did they manage to pull out from the system? And how much time would you need for that? Jack?
Simon? What is the answer to all those questions?
You could copy the encrypted files and the encryption key, and just have a look at it. Whenever you have access to a computer or something, you could put it all on a floppy disk, because this is 2000 after all. And let's see.
They had CDs.
Yes, that
Although
too.
this is also Brazil, and Brazil is a little bit behind everything, so it might be still using floppy disks.
Yeah.
Going like you would have access to the list of names, but you might not know them. So going through that list could take you some time, or not at all, depending on what you were looking for. As for the information that was on the university, basically what was compromised is mostly emails between different Neo-Hermes colleagues that were discussing alchemical research or research related to the stars or things like this.
All right. Well, I'm going to copy as much of it as I can onto the floppy disk, and then I'm going to delete and wipe everything on the computers.
Okay.
That has to do with, well, I guess everything, because it's 2000, so you just take a magnet to it.
I would be interested in those names in revolving around alchemy. Maybe I know somebody.
Yeah. You have a lot of contacts. Maybe one of your old students ended up in this university, or maybe not. It's up to you. But basically, if one of your old students was here, now they're having to move their lives to somewhere else.
All right, so that'll take some time because I'm guessing it's more than one floppy disk that we're moving stuff onto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once actually, I'm not moving on to a floppy disk. I'm moving on to my laptop because I have a laptop and cables that connect to multiple inputs and outputs.
I will take out my notepad and start copying in a notepad by pencil. Like, let's start.
I'm gonna look at you and be like, "This is faster." You were reading that technology magazine, weren't you?
This is the most safest thing I know.
Valid.
Technically correct.
All things considered.
But we will need to figure out how can we help this brave young man. He will need some protection. Well, the best protection can be
Trial by fire.
Yep, you read my mind. So as soon as you have some, maybe I won't say you are insufficient in your skills and defenses, but they can be improved, especially against these kind of attacks. Sometimes the fists will just not do their full potential against those. Should we leave if we don't have anything here?
Yeah, I mean, I can't get anything else from this computer. I'm guessing this is a couple hours later, and I've wiped all the drives and gone into the server room and done the same thing to those hard drives and whatnot.
All right. Philip, does your character feel any sort of kinship for Chris, who also doesn't seem to be an intellectual like yourself, but also seem to have been dragged into this whole, who seems to be more of a physical type of person, and who seems to have been dragged into this whole Neo-Hermes things a bit out of the blue like you were?
Oh, absolutely. It's like looking in a mirror. Just kind of like, holy shit. It's not just me.
Chris mentioned earlier that he was able to that he was confident staying behind because of his fighting abilities, but you can't seem to see any weapons on him.
Chris, would I be able to ask you to elaborate on your fighting abilities that you speak of?
Yeah, I've pretty much studied capoeira as far as I can remember. And I've won several tournaments and championships. I don't really compete much anymore. Just I don't feel that need to compete against other people, really. But I do still enjoy the art. And of course, there's a lot of people down here that I can dance with, as we call it.
Well, damn, that's impressive.
Did your mentor maybe explain you the process of acquiring karma?
No. I'm putting it out there for Chris. That's like what you know about the supernatural is basically there are two organizations called Hermes and Neo-Hermes, maybe more, and yeah, that's about it. And what I told you about sharing, like,
yeah.
So
I figured out that there is something more going on, but I don't really know much of the details. We hadn't reached that point yet, so I don't really know what it is, but I'm very curious to learn more when time presents itself. Obviously, important matters to deal with. if we're going to France, that plane ride's quite a trip. Maybe there's some time for you to give me a quick rundown there.
Yeah, it's quite a trip. 11 hours and 10 minutes.
Oof.
No, sorry, one day. One flight per day, 11 hours and 10 minutes in duration.
Yikes.
Yep.
Hey, the flight we just took was 20 hours, so it's not that bad.
Fair.
Jet lagged the game.
Right. Jet lag simulator. Now out on Steam.
But also, all of you have a wealth of five or more.
Oh yeah,
I'm not sure.
Just checking to make sure nobody needs to get indebted to get to Paris.
Yeah, I'm 6.
Okay.
It's under wealth, you said?
Yes.
Let me see.
It's in your resources under the skills, under the lifelines.
Yeah, I'm at 6, so I'm good.
Okay, you're good.
Gucci.
All right. So do you head off to France then?
I suppose so.
All right. All right. So on your way there, you have quite a long.
And I think I'll need to stop at my apartment.
Yeah.
To grab some stuff.
All right. Since did you you've been here quite a while, right? How long have you been teaching at this university?
This is maybe my second year.
Okay, yeah. So is the apartment already to your name, and it'd be possible for anyone who knew your name to find it, or not? Or are you just renting it?
I'm renting it from somebody, so I'm sure that if it's a legit rental, they would have it listed, publicly, unless the guy's, renting it to me and just not reporting it, which a lot of times people do.
This is
me.
entirely possible.
Yeah. So I'm asking you which one it is to know.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, if you searched my name, you probably could find the address. I don't think it would necessarily be a matter of public record for anybody, but somebody that knew how to do a search on somebody could find out where I live. I don't go out of my way to keep it secret, but just generally, teachers and such tend to not have publicly listed addresses. But and plus with the internet in 2000, I don't know how easy it is to find somebody's ID, but I don't go to any length to hide it,
Okay. When you arrive at your apartment, you find that your door is slightly ajar. The rest of the group is with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I imagine they took a taxi here, so they're probably in my car.
Yep.
I didn't leave my door open when I left. I will hop out and approach the door cautiously.
All right. Anyone who's who came with Chris up to his flat can roll for vigilance, and Chris, so can you. So in this game, if you roll 12 or more on your roll, it's a success.
Which one's vigilance under again?
It's
Sagittarius.
First column towards the middle.
Did you say vigilance under
Yes.
Sagittarius?
Yes. So Oliver, I don't think you even noticed that the door is ajar.
Probably not. No.
Chris, you hear one of the floorboards that's inside of your house creaking, and you get a general sense that it's towards where the kitchen is.
I hold my hand up, like stop, and I tap my ear and point towards the kitchen, and I quietly move over to the window.
All right.
That probably would be like over the sink in the kitchen.
So are you on the ground floor?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you start moving towards the window. Roll for stealth, please. It's under Scorpio, a middle column towards the bottom. Okay. You're pretty stealthy. You're able to make your way towards the window without being spotted. Does anybody else come with Chris, or do you like? What are your characters doing?
Philip would probably go with.
It depends on what floor it is, and does it have an elevator?
It's a ground floor.
Ground floor. Then I will go. Yes.
Okay, so both of you can roll stealth. Oliver, are you going for another angle? Are you following to the window as well?
Oliver just realized that even though he's been doing a whole bunch of firearms training, he completely forgot to take a weapon from Hawaii. So he's just going to gesture Philip forward and then follow behind.
We're not very stealthy today, Jesus.
No, you're not. You pass in, like both of you see Chris like like leaning forward a lot when he gets in front of the windows, and I guess you don't lean down as much, but yeah, you. And Oliver, who's like the last one, sees that you're visible, and you start to hear running from the inside of the house towards the door.
My result is actually 14 because of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is because of your aura.
Yeah, rolls. Yeah.
So Philip is the one who gave the game away.
Trying to show off to the new guy I'm completely overcompensated.
Are we all running towards the door?
Yes, you all hear that.
Oh, I'm running to intercept him at the door.
All right. Roll for athleticism. It's under chores.
Damn. Are we all rolling athleticism? Or just Chris?
I mean, anyone who's running after, but Chris, yeah, you make it to the door just in time to see this person arriving to the door right in front of him, and he stops, he stops in front of you, and you see that he is he's holding a gun in his hand, and yeah, you make it to the door, and and just as he was opening it, and you stand in front of each other for half a second until he smiles and says, "Oh, hello, Mr. Catman," and he points his gun at you.
Can I cast the verse?
If this is this going to be a combat verse, or which means we would need to roll initiative or not?
I want to paralyze him, actually.
Which verse would you be using?
Every part. It's the name of the verse. And target becomes conscious of his current actions and consequences, consumed by a doubt and unable to act.
All right.
Only react.
Yeah, that's for a turn or 2 turns.
Okay. 1 round.
1 round. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead and say the words of the verse, and basically he's not going to be able to shoot.
I will say, for it's hideously weak and horrible to reject every part of his personality and responsibility. That's the verse.
That's a light verse, right?
That's a light worth.
Yeah, so spend some light karma. And Chris, you see this person right in front of you freezing. He's still pointing his gun at you, but he has a distinct lack of movement, and but his eyes are flickering between all of you who are now in front of the door in front of him. So what do you do?
Can I tell him also to now drop the gun? I have +3 to persuasion and leadership against him.
To drop the gun.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, go ahead and
Yeah, I will just say that. Drop the gun. And I have +3 now because of this verse.
Okay. Roll for. I guess you're just trying to. Are you trying to persuade?
Yeah, just try.
Yeah, go ahead.
Command him, persuade him. Yeah. 19.
All right. Yeah. He lets go of the gun to the floor, raises his hand, and says, you've apprehended him already. Congratulations." He extends his hand to you, Stefan, and he says, "I'm Crimson. I've been sent by the Hermes as a backup to your team."
Yeah, I figured it out. Yeah, Mr. Crimson, we got it. There's no. I'm sorry that you doubt, and they thought that we will need help. This is just an apprentice. He's not even a karma-filled person yet, so there were no problem.
Does he know anything?
No, but now he knows about our plot. Thanks for rattling it to him. We were just following him and hoping to get more fluids out of him.
He turns to Chris and says, "Well, I'm sure you're talented enough to persuade him to help us anyways." And he winks at what's your name again, Oliver? Jack.
He just noticed Jackler Oliver because he definitely doesn't notice Jack because Jack is just name Oliver made up on the spot.
Yeah, but basically when he says you should be pretty good at persuading him, he turns to you specifically. As if to say, I know what your role in our organization is.
Ooh, woo.
Yes, I'm going to say I was working on it.
So he takes a step aside and he lets you in, and you can see that that he started ransacking the flat. He was obviously looking for something.
Sarcastically, Oliver's going to say, I hope you got what you're looking for.
Unfortunately, no. He didn't seem to have any information on his teacher, but personally, I'm in charge. I've been tasked with helping you specifically to find whatever did this, whatever did the hacking. Guys?
Oliver's doing his.
Would be for you to get back in my apartment and fix up everything that you misplaced.
Shut up, young man. Yeah, we need to keep
Angry Mentor mode on.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Chris, this person is Crimson is from the Hermes. He's from the group that tries to kill Neo Hermes, like the rest of the people around you. I think you might have been told that these people, they are sort of double agents. They're Hermes, Neo Hermes infiltrating the Hermes.
Yeah, we are double agents, so we can keep them believing that we are working for them. So. That's why I'm pretending that you are our prisoner now, or something like that.
Nevertheless, what's his response when I tell him that?
I think there might have been a cut in the thing. I only heard messing up your apartment. What did you say?
Oh, I said, well, a good place to start would be getting back in there and straightening up everything you messed up in my apartment.
Okay.
That was what I
he picks up his gun and...
Oh, no, I kick it out of... I'm attacking him if he's going for his gun.
Right.
I'm going to leg sweep him.
Okay, well, roll for brawl, and everyone is going to be able to see your fantastic ability to fight.
Woo woo.
Yeah, that's...
Oh,
yep.
damn.
Wish we had you a session ago.
Just at me next time.
Oh, well, he open rolled and he still didn't even come close to what you're able to do. So yeah, you knock the gun away from him and leg sweep him in the same movement. He crashes onto the floor. You hear him grunting and saying, "Jackal, keep your prisoner in check." What do you do, Oliver?
I'm far more interested in having a asset inside the Neo Hermes, so I'm going to let him do whatever he wants to do, and I actually do say that.
You see he's annoyed and like he's bleeding a bit from his nose where he crashed against the floor, and he says, fine, I'll take care of cleaning your apartment, but as long as you answer these people's questions. And he gets, you can see that by the time that he's up again, the nose that you had broken is got straightened again, like Chris, and you don't understand how that's possible.
I probably didn't actually break it, I'm guessing.
Hmm?
I would guess I probably didn't break it. I probably just popped it, and he just popped it back.
I mentioned that he like just broke it when crashing against the floor. Like it wasn't
right.
It's like.
But
it wasn't
my mind to justify what I'm seeing is going to assume that I didn't actually break it. I just popped it out of place, and he somehow just popped it back in. He's probably got a trick nose. He's probably broken it several times, so now it's.
So basically, like you can see that he was looking mostly through files, but it's going to be more difficult for him to clean up the couches that have been torn open and your mattress that has been gutted like a beast.
Okay, I turn and look at, I guess, Oliver, who seems to be the one acting like he's in charge, and is this guy okay? Do I need to throw him out? You seem to be okay with him being here.
I've never personally met him, but if the Hermes sent him, he is here to support us. His methods do seem somewhat more straightforward than I prefer, but I suppose they have their uses.
I'll start picking my stuff up. And actually, at this point, you probably would see quite a number of trophies and awards and pictures from various tournaments. So I may not have actually been as revealing about my my past. There's also a lot of like a couple of canes and some smaller straight swords, which I will begin collecting and throwing into a duffel bag, along with a couple of sets of clothes, and just basically picking up anything I need to and throwing any perishables, dumping them down the sink or throwing them into the garbage so I can take that out if we're leaving for a while. And then I will go knock on my neighbor's house and ask him to watch my place. I am going to be gone for however long I think I'll be gone. I might be gone for a while. Can you keep an eye out? It's probably a neighbor I know, a key sharer, you know.
All right. Crimson, if you're not keeping like a close eye on him, Crimson is going to feel it might be suspicious of you, but I assume that one of you is staying with Chris at most times.
I am going to try to find out more about Crimson.
Okay. Real quick, Philip. By the way, you because you're the one who's trained in combat in the group, you noticed how efficient Chris was at dispatching dispatching Crimson, and you can see he's really good at hand-to-hand combat. Possibly, he might be able to disarm even you.
Shit, man.
So yeah, you're just to
Slightly intimidated, but all right.
all right. So how is Oliver going to find out more about Crimson?
Oh, just general questions. I would be fully justified in asking, what tasks do you normally perform, and how long have you been with the organization?
I've been with the organization 5 years, and I'm a researcher. I'm part of one of the less well-known tables that researches specific subjects. Something about this hack means that that the subject of our research might be involved in all of this, but unfortunately, unless you're part of the same table as I am, I can't reveal more to you. And you can see that he extends his hand in a weird way, like he's trying to confirm whether or not you know the secret handshake to specifically the table that he belongs to, and you do not. You have no idea about who this subgroup of the Hermes are.
Okay, well, that's inconvenient and will make my life difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're happy with that.
I am.
That was Oliver to Crimson.
Oh,
I mean, it does apply to you somewhat too.
Two birds on stone.
But yes, it was Oliver to Crimson.
Yeah. He says, "Don't worry. I won't get into your in the way of your job of tracking down the Neo Hermes. All I want to find is the person who took care of this hack. You can do with that with Mr. Catman as you will."
Glad I have your permission. Sarcastically.
We're aware that whoever did the act is not part of the Hermes, and so that they might target the Sorbonne University. I've already sent people there to try and anticipate the attack and see if they can do anything about it. But your skills might be useful.
Well, then it's lucky for you. We're flying out in. And he's going to yell, "Mr. Catman, when are you ready to go?"
You're taking you're taking a potential recruit with you. I thought you were a potential recruit of the Neo Hermes with you. I thought you were just going to interrogate him, search his place. Why do we need him?
As you said, he is a potential recruit. There is no reason he can't be turned. It'd be far more convenient to have someone inside the Neo Hermes than just whatever small, tiny, insignificant, unimportant information he currently has.
We could, you're right, we could get him as a double agent. That could be quite interesting. Well, yeah, I'm now beginning to see why you inherited the title that you did. All right. He nods at you, and you can see you've earned a little bit more of his trust. So he'll potentially be more willing to answer questions on your trip to France. Chris, all of the stuff that you have that you need to travel is prepared. What are you going to do now?
Come out of the bedroom. I'm ready. I've got just two duffel bags. Well, one backpack and a duffel bag. Clothes in one, my weapons in the other one, which I'm presuming that as a officially recognized martial artist at the airport, I can check them legally and they will put them into their hold, so I have no access to them. But
this is the year 2000.
Yeah, you know that scene in Kill Bill where she's on the plane with the katana like right next to her because it was before the year because it's set before the year 2000. Yeah, you can bring weapons with you on planes. It might change in a year when like it will change in a year, but so far like no problem.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, they don't love it, but
Yeah.
I suppose you all head to the airport together and all take a plane to France. When you see Crimson paying for his ticket, you see that he takes out a credit card that is distinctively golden and expensive look. Are you going to do anything specific on your trip to France?
I'm going to calculate what he owes me in damages to my apartment.
And all right, yeah. You can do that. What about the others?
Well, not much, since now we have this Crimson guy watching over us, so we'll keep playing the game.
If you need to communicate with one another, you still have the memory palaces.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but we need to communicate with Chris, and he is not able to.
Crimson isn't necessarily going to be seated next to you, especially since he doesn't want to be here for the whole indoctrination thing. He you can see he takes something in first class, and he's going to be reading what looks to be a very, very old book, something that's somewhat falling apart. And he's going,
I'm going to start briefing Chris on all the information he might need to know if he were actually a double agent for the Neo Hermes. Or for the Hermes in the Neo Hermes.
Okay, so that guy thinks that you're actually part of the Hermes, when in actuality you're Neo Hermes, pretending to be Hermes so that you can interact with them without them trying to kill you.
Yes, and he's asking that you be recruited to be the opposite.
One last thing. Has your mentor told you about the jackal?
I don't know, has he? I don't believe so.
All right. I'm the jackal. I'm responsible for hunting down all Neurohermes. Yeah, if anyone asks you, you'll say you report to me. That
Should I
should
refer to you as
stop
the chief?
questions. Yes.
Okay.
All right. You arrive in France, and you you make your way to the to the university, where you can already see the that some of the Hermes there are already somewhat panicking, just like the people at the previous university were, and some of them are starting to like. You can basically see some of them are packing. Like some teachers are packing that have visible karma are packing their stuff as if they're planning to leave the university. You make your way to the computer room, and you can see there's an argument going there. One of the professors is saying, but if there's a chance that this computer gets breached, we have to delete all of the information. And he's arguing with someone who's wearing like more military gear, closer to what the Anubis usually wear. And when you arrive, Crimson says, "That's right. We're using the information on these computers as bait. We're keeping it there to try to lure out whoever is doing the hacking. They've already hacked 5 locations of secret societies that we know of, maybe potentially more that we're unaware of. If they strike here next, we might be able to learn something about them." And like the person just like tries to argue, but Crimson says, I've been ordered to do this by the dead masters. If you have any problems, you can take it up with them. And like when the other person like keeps arguing, Crimson says, "I'm doing this for the Table of Ruby," and that shuts the person up that was arguing previously, who's just going to leave and basically let you have the computer room. As the teacher is leaving, he says to Oliver, "I hope you know what you're doing. There's priceless information about alchemy that we were analyzing here. Don't get it lost."
You have backed it up, have you not?
We have. We just don't want it to end up in hands other than ours. Imagine if Neo Hermes or if the living got their hands on it.
The living would be bad. I'm fairly sure the Neo Hermes already have it because they seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, there's no answer to that, but all right. You're given the computer room, and Crimson is just going to start working here. He sits down in front of the computer, and you can see that he knows a bit about it. What are your characters going to do now? Hello?
I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll ask Stefan if he knows what he knows about the Table of Ruby, quietly, out of earshot.
Do we know anything about it? And do I know anything about those alchemical experiments he was talking about?
You need to access you can go on the computers to have a look at them later, but and I'll come back to you when you do that. But as far as the Ruby table, it has been mentioned by Alison Melfi in a previous session. It's the table that specializes in studying the 12 gods.
Mm. And actually, does this crimson person has an aura?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can see that he has both light and dark con.
Okay.
I should make you roll, but you probably have enough in clairvoyance to take your time to do this. So,
Well, I can actually ask him while he's browsing the computer. What was that book? It looks pretty old and interesting. I might notice.
so Crimson takes the book out and places it in front of you, and he says, "This is one of the this is a copy of a manuscript that used to be in the Library of Alexandria. It used to have an aura about it, an aura that the Pisces aura, and nobody had any idea how it was possible for a book to emit an aura, but because Pisces is associated with erudition, we think that some of his essence might have been in this book, but recently it stopped having the aura disappeared, and I've been trying to figure out why. And you can see he refers to Pisces with the Pisces' true name. Her name is Melchior. Hold on, I gotta check how it's written in the game, so I can give you the info. Just give me 1 second. But yeah, that's all that Crimson says. Stefan? I think you might be...
Yeah. Do I know anything about it? Seems I'm a pretty much a Pisces person.
Yeah, you can roll for erudition.
Okay. 14.
Okay. You are aware that because Melchior, because she was involved in creating like knowledge when the world was created, her essence was usually associated with books a lot. Same thing with Libra.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that some books that were that revealed breakthroughs in advances in science and languages were more associated with Pisces. But that's about the extent of your knowledge. You didn't know about books having auras.
Yeah. I will extend my hand like in gesture. Can I? And ask him to. Can I see the book?
He sends it to you, but he says, "Be very careful. Its value is incalculable."
Oh no! I will take pretty good care of it. And can I just browse through it and see? Look through the index or author or.
Do you Do you speak ancient Mesopotamian?
No. So this is Pictic letter, huh?
Yeah. This used to be a series of scrolls in the Library of Alexandria before it was conscripted.
Any kind of myths and legends come to mind with this book, or
No, not more than you didn't. I
Yeah.
already told you which
Sure.
you're scoring third edition.
Yeah. Okay, I will return him the book then.
All right.
So you know Babylonian? I will ask him.
No, you might have seen me scrolling through the book, but I was trying to look for any sign of the aura. I'm more of a
Crier, huh?
seeker than a scholar.
Well, pretty strange thing that books can possess aura. Do I know if there is any kind in a history that a diva or archon can be imprisoned in an inanimate object or stuff like that?
No, you've never heard of this happening ever to an inanimate object before, ever in any of the game sessions that we did together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, apart from the skull of Albert the Great,
Yeah.
which we,
And it will be pretty unusual to someone have a book as a palace, right?
What do
A
you
single
mean?
book.
What do you mean? I don't understand. For the palace to be in the shape of a book?
Yeah, exactly like that.
You've never heard of that?
Yeah. Okay.
You know that Alison has a library that her menus are in books, but this was never associated with anything physical.
Cool. Well, I will return him his precious book. Yeah. And I'm truly in awe with a collection of scrolls and text inside.
All right.
And it's Ep of Gilgamesh at the end. No, it's not.
What is Chris doing in the meantime? You might be muted.
There we
Chris?
go. Yep. I am just standing there waiting for them to give me some indication where I should jump in, because I'm the new guy here, so I'm not sure where they want me to hop in. I'm just kind of trying to listen and take it all in stride.
All right.
Well, I will ask then Oliver or Jack if he had any plans or ideas of introducing Chris to the Karma.
Oliver's going to look up. This is not something that's ever occurred to him, since for him that was you and the Jackal. So he kind of figured that'd just be something you'd do.
Okay, we can do that.
When you mentioned it, he's like, I guess I could. Don't you think you'd be more qualified for it though?
No, I was just asking if you have any plans when we should do that, or since you mentioned to the Mr. Crimson that you want to inaugurate him in an actual double agent thing. So I was thinking maybe sooner than later, yeah, maybe even this evening, or
I guess we could do it this evening. Do you know? I assume you know how to make the potion, right?
well, probably, huh?
Yeah, it might take you a bit longer to finish a potion. It usually takes like a lot of effort, but you are a talented alchemist, so you could get that taken care of.
Well, since this is I see this institution, this Sorbona is under the Hermes's protection. Maybe I can land there, or chemical laboratory, or chemical laboratory to. Do I need anything from a Chris to make a potion?
Yeah, you need to know. You need to know enough about him to you need to do an analysis of his blood, and there's a lot of aspects of like his personality that have to come into account. You need to know, for example, his archetype, ascendants and descendants, things like this. It's a long process, but you can get started. Yes.
Well, while your guys looking at this computer and trying to fish out whoever broke into the files, me and Chris can go, and I will also explain him about divas and karmas and archons and how all persons should be.
Actually, it could be an interesting thing to do in role play, maybe the shortened version, and then we can and then out of the game I can like fill out the blanks for Chris. But just before this, what is Philip doing?
Sorry, I've been munching on pretzels. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I think through a lot of this, Philip is just kind of there to fill in gaps where needed. I don't think he has a moment where he feels like he has a particular moment where he can really take the lead on something, so he's just kind of there like, oh, do you need me to run and get this? Great. Or like, oh, like, do you need to research this? Let me see if I can help you find anything. But yeah, he's just kind of there.
All right. Yeah, you're providing assistance.
Yeah.
You'd be giving, if you have the domain computers, you might be able to give a bonus to.
I don't think I do.
Oliver.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I don't.
Is it Oliver doing the work or Crimson?
I guess you could be cooperating.
Yeah, I mean, Oliver will definitely help out. This is something he's supposed to be doing, so
Yeah.
it would be good not to slack on it.
All right. So you can see that Crimson, instead of like reinforcing security, adding new levels of encryption to the files and everything, he's connecting to a lot of different servers, and basically he's preparing to track an oncoming cyber attack. He doesn't care at all about protecting the files in any way. He's just like hunting, and you can sort of feel that about, like, he has this sort of intensity about what he's doing. So are you? Yeah. So what? How are you going to work here? Are you going to try to help him out with that, or are you going to try to like boost the defenses of this place? What are you doing?
Yeah, Oliver's going to say, how likely is it that the entity we're tracking, do you need them to actually steal the information to find them, basically?
He says no, but it might take some time for me to track down specifically where this is coming from and to understand it. So the longer the defenses last, the better, but it doesn't really matter to me whether or not the information is taken. I know it's years of priceless research for the people here, but this is more. But my search is more important.
You are a Hermes, are you not? What is our policy on information?
Keeping it secret, and I know. I know it's I know it's your task as an Anubis to find whoever leaks our informations online. So this is part of your job too.
It is, but I also can't have this information falling into others' hands. So while you're working on this, I will work on improving our security here, as well as transferring these files somewhere secure.
All right, roll technologies. Okay, nice.
Suppose I can't roll 12s both times. I suppose I can't roll a 12 both times.
No, but I'll keep the 24 for whenever I'm rolling to intrude on these systems. I'm
also going to store, once again, all these files on my laptop, because my laptop's not connected to the internet or any other computer.
So you're stealing the research of the Hermes that the Hermes have here, right?
No, I'm protecting it.
Yeah,
somewhere secure.
Okay. So the alchemical things that they're working on is they have found traces. They're trying to decode Nicholas Flamel's Spagyrix, which you couldn't have learned in the previous game session when you were there, but you now have access to the ways to learn how to create them. So I know that Stefan, you were very interested in spending experience points for those powers, so you have access to them again. And yeah, just putting it on there. In the meantime, Chris, you are being taken to another room that looks like a chemistry. It's basically a chemistry lab, but it has more occult aspects. So, for example, you've got some flasks that have occult symbols carved into the glass, and you've got a lot of different ingredients that like herbs and things like this, that you wouldn't necessarily usually see in a chemistry lab. Stefan's taken you here, and he's explained that it's for the purpose of initiating you and giving you powers. What do you do with, like, are you coming in this willingly? What's your approach?
Yeah. First, I just want to say we have a thunderstorm here, so they only last like 10, 15 minutes because I'm in Florida. So we get them every day. So power may go out, but if it does, it's like 5 minutes. So if I suddenly DC up, I should be back up.
Yeah. I will imagine that I'm explaining things to you in a very slow and old person voice, so you fell asleep. Like,
I go along with them. I listen. You know, I had expected at some point in time, things were going to get weird. So I'm trying to sort of take it in stride, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that there would really serve any purpose if he was pulling a gag on me of this magnitude. So if he did,
well, I will make sure you are sitting comfortably on the chair, and I will start browsing the shelves of this strange laboratory for some mortar and pestle and some powders and incense and herbs and stuff like that, and I will talk to you, and I will say to you, young man, you look in a prime of your age, and it seems that you are aware of your body and of your strength, but may I ask you, did you ever felt incomplete? And did you ever think that there is more?
I don't know that I necessarily felt incomplete, but I have always sort of felt that there was something more than what meets the eye. And that was sort of what my mentor was talking about. We were going to get into, though we never had a chance to. So I know something's going on. I'm just not sure exactly what it is.
These things is usually done by your own mentor, and it might be weird, and because you are now doing it with let's say a stranger, but may I assure you are in a safe hands. And I will start explaining all about. I'm not sure how much you know as a player, but I will try to explain. What?
I didn't tell him anything, so
Thanks for that.
I can make a short summary that can be complemented by watching the previous videos of like the basic supernatural powers that you could have access to and where they come from, or you can take care of that.
I can try to explain, and you can intervene if needs be.
Yep,
and I will say, well, you see, our beings, well, they are deprived of their fullness in this time and hour. I think every of us should be filled with more than, as you said, just meet the eye. At the beginning, there were powers, and some religions call them black and white, some religions call them good and evil. But both of those should complement to the fulfillment of your being. Are you following? So basically, if you personalize those powers, you can call them divas and archons. And both of those can grant you some pretty strange power. Some people will call it magic, some people will call it occult knowledge, but they are powers, and they will allow you to do things that are not meant for a pure mortal.
I mean, like when you guys made that guy just put his gun down, which didn't really seem like that was his plan.
Exactly. Good catch. And I would say, oh, finally, and I found the coffee where they call coffee. Go to the espresso machine, yeah, and I will make 2 coffees. And well, basically, this whole process is to allow you to tap into those powers, because, well, it might seem a little bit religious, but something will judge us at the end. And there are, as I said, black and white powers in this world. Not necessarily good or bad, but they're just different. And we will be judged, are we black or white or good or bad? You will be gaining probably powers of both sides. So this is something that we will do now. And then I will start asking all the questions that I need to know about you, and that's something that Simon knows. What should I need? Because I don't know. As he said, your private things like
usually, like because the process of creating the works is something that is different for every individual. You need to learn. You need to, like, it needs to be something that's personalized, and like, you know how to make it in a way that's alchemical, but you know some Hermes and your Hermes have managed to reach that state with dancing or with what's it called, or with paint, like, or by painting, writing something. Like it's almost like it's different for everyone, but you start to ask a lot of questions in order to know. In order to try to figure out, like, what his archetype ascendants and descendants are based on his personality and what he's naturally gifted at.
And we will connect him to both Diva and Archon, right?
that's both up to you and him. It depends on how much experience points he's willing to spend on this. But it would take more time. Like let's just say it's going to take you at least 2 days of work to get to finish each work, and that is. Like, I'm being generous. Usually, it takes like years to try to for people to do this. But you're a talented alchemist, so.
Well, let's say he already did lots of things with his mentors, so this is just a push over the edge process. Like, now you're ready, fly, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose we could do it like this. So, all right. So, Chris. In order to gain powers, you have to gain them from a being called from beings of light that can give you light powers called divas, or beings of darkness that can give you darkness powers called archons. The Hermes humans used to have both of them, but lost them during a sort of cataclysm, and the Hermes have found ways of resurrecting the archons and divas, and so Hermes usually resurrect their archon first and their divas second, but Neo Hermes resurrect their divas first and their archons second, because you're going to be infiltrating because you're supposed to infiltrate the Neo Hermes. It would make sense for you to resurrect your being of light, your diva first, but that's up to you. It costs you 25 experience points to resurrect each one, and the final process is called the work in red, which fuses you with both of them, and basically gives you access to your to a new kind of power, the auras, and also doubles the amount of life points that you have. So that's another 25 experience points to finish the process, to complete the process. Which part of the process do you want to start with, and how much experience points do you want to spend on getting your Archon and Diva today?
Okay, so it looks like I was trying to work out what I wanted to spend XP on, like for skills and stuff, and I think I came out to about 115 points or so. So that would, I think, leave me enough to do both of them, both the Diva and the Archon.
Also, if you do this, this only gives you like the fuel to power your powers. Learning the powers also costs some experience points.
Sure, I got it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean we can do both, because I see where you're saying, like I'm supposed to appear to be a Hermes that's infiltrating the Neo, but really I'm a Neo infiltrating the Hermes as a Neo triple agent. I don't know. So I think probably I should have both. That way it won't look suspicious to either group why I seem to be aligned to the other one.
The main difference, if I might say, between these two groups is what should be done with the knowledge. The Hermeses, or the old school, things that it should be kept among the few and secretive. And they are even go to the lengths of killing someone who is revealing the truth. And the Neo Hermeses are the one who thinks that all people should finally know the truth and connect to both Divas and Archons in order to reach the enlightenment state. And so these are the differences between those two groups.
So whoever's doing this hacking and putting this stuff out there publicly seems to be Neo, not Hermes, but Neo.
Well, that's the strange. The first computer that was hacked, they were searching like they were hacking Neo Hermeses because they got a list of Neo Hermeses. And the second hack is targeting the Hermeses, actually. So, yeah.
So what better way to mislead somebody than to make it look like you're the opposite fraction? But the very act of revealing it publicly seems to be clearly Neo.
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, but that you're actually thinking about this plot really well, and like that's like really good in terms of But here's the thing: since you're going to do both, which one would you like to start with? Which aspect of you, which aspect would your character be willing to explore first?
Well, I consider myself to be more of a good person than a bad person, if that is a way to relate to the dark and the light. I mean, is the dark more damage, destruction, manipulating stuff, and the light is more of a healing, so probably seems like...
Based on the powers, yes, you're right. It's that thing. So you start working on your work in white to resurrect your diva, and you're going to be finishing the process right when the attack happens. So we're going to do the attack scene first, and then we'll come back to you and play this out. So it's about midnight. When in the computer room, Philip, Oliver, and Crimson, you've been working here for hours. When one of the screens starts to flash red with one of the alerts that Oliver that you put in, and something is breaching the defenses, the security measures that you put in. At an alarming rate, like it's going much faster than what you anticipated. So what do you? All right, so just give me 1 second. Oh yeah, I rolled higher than your 24 defenses. So
higher than when I rolled a 12.
So some the computers that you're working on, there's a flash of light as one of the what are they called? As the webcam on one of the computers flashes, and then for 2 seconds you see you see that one of the computers connects to a facial recognition software, passes through a bunch of them, and then and a message pops up on the computer that you're on, Oliver. It says the following: lower the defenses or this will be revealed. And there's 3 files. The first one is a video file. The second one is a what's it called? It's a word. It's
like a Word document.
It's like a Word document, and it's called Essays on the Mysticism of Labyrinths. And the third one is also it's another video. What do you do?
So
Yelp.
It's a video, a Word document that's entitled what?
Essays on the Mysticism of Labyrinths.
Does that mean anything to me?
Yes, it does. It's the what's it called? It is the work. It's the thesis with which Philip that Philip presented to be allowed inside of.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, the main thing about that document is about the word assistant. Is it a dog or a clipper from that time?
And then the final one is a video file. All right.
Yes.
I'm going to raise my eyebrow at Crimson in do you have what you need?
No.
Sure.
Crimson is like working really hard on his computer, and like he is not close to being done.
All right, then I'm going to slowly start taking down firewalls. That's like as slow as possible.
Okay. All right. By the way, this message that says to lower the defenses popped up on multiple computers. Philip, what do you do?
First, I hold back a little scream because this is terrifying, especially in the early 2000s. Like, this is what everybody warned about when the year 2000 hit.
Yeah.
I go over to Oliver and I just say, "What the hell do we do? What do we do?"
I mean, that's just your thesis, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what the videos are, but I'm just, yeah.
I mean,
I don't think we have anything to worry about.
videos could be really problematic pieces of information to release to the public.
Do the videos have titles?
No, they. I mean, like they have file names, but they're sort of generic file names.
So like 1-4124, whatever.
.mp4.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to continue slowly taking down the firewalls.
Can I click on one of the video files and see what it is?
Sure. You open a first video file to. It's basically a video of someone breaking into a computer room and starting to a server room and connecting their computer to it, and it has like on the corner of the video there's like the date, the place, and stuff like this. So Oliver, before you were recruited into the Neo Hermes, there you did a lot of shady work. What is you did at least one hack that you're really not proud of, something like sinister, but you got paid a lot of money for it, something nobody, even the Neo Hermes, ever found out before. What was it? What were you hacking? Were you hacking like protect the I don't know, protect baby seals organization or something like this? It's something your character is not proud of. What is it?
I was putting some, like planting some false information in a wildlife conservation website that got them in a lot of trouble.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You were uploading some like some illegal stuff onto their servers.
Yeah, like evidence of, I don't know, money laundering or something like that, whaling or something bad.
So here's the thing: you spent some time making like you know that practically nothing could tie you back to this hack, apart from the fact that your face was shown on camera, on one of the cameras for like a few seconds. But because you're not a well-known criminal, like, there's no way someone could have tied you back to this, and you don't and your character is unaware that this video is being played by Philip right now. Philip,
Yeah.
there's only 3 people in the room. There's you, Crimson, and Oliver, which means and there's only 3 files in front of you. What do you do next?
Because I'm curious and impulsive, I will watch the last video file.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I guess Oliver doesn't know what's on the video, so
Yeah.
that doesn't really matter.
You click on the video and you see it's pretty sinister. It's a video showing someone dragging a body from a truck of a car into a building. And like basically like the body being in a sort of like body bag, but you can see that that whatever was inside of that was struggling to get out while being transported into the building. That was caught by the security cameras. You can see Crimson is the person to do it, and the video is followed by a series of images that have been that according to the file names have been downloaded directly from a police case from a police station, and it's a series of images where you can see like the body was taken out of the body bag. There's mystical symbols carved on the body and pieces of flesh missing in the form of tooth, in the form of like what's it called, bite marks. Human bite marks, and the blood has been used to draw arcane symbols throughout that small room. And yeah, you can definitely see that Crimson was the person who dragged the body into that room.
Well, that's a big yikes. I close the files and I don't say a word.
Okay. By the way, do you have a look at the one that involves you at all or not?
I assume I already know what's in it. Well, yeah, I'll open it and see if it has something that maybe I'm not expecting.
So basically, it's the file as it was on your uncle's computer, signed by him before you replace his name with yours in order to get the credit for the discoveries involved. But also, it seems that the document was altered slightly. This is basically the first two paragraphs, the introduction. And it's like the old copy of the document that you like modified a little bit, but there's also I'll let you I'll let you have a look at it. But basically, like the only place this document could have been acquired was if someone had hacked your uncle's computer in the couple of seconds between your face being identified by the cameras and you receiving the file. So that was extremely fast.
Yeah. Oh my god, Simon, this is so well done, and at the same time, like, how dare you?
Not to blow a hole in your theory, but I believe, or in your story, but I believe a couple episodes back I did say that Oliver was convicted for his crimes.
It's this one you were not caught for.
Okay, so
this one still weighs. Yeah, this one still weighs on your conscience.
Okay.
Right. So, Theo, what is Philip going to want the security to be taken down more now with this or not?
He trusts Oliver. Oliver said he was taking it down. If it starts like to get really pressed for time, though, then he'll start freaking out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So Oliver, yeah, you're just lowering the firewalls one after the other. We're going to move back to Stefan and Chris. So you it's like you've been working at this for a while. You're almost done with you're done with the potion. Philip, do you do anything? What do you do to prepare Chris to the summoning ritual and the naming ritual?
Oh God. Wait, am I even there?
No, you're not. I
Stefan.
Oh,
you mean
Stefan.
me?
Did I say Philip? I'm sorry. I meant Stefan.
Well, I don't know if I can do anything else except explaining that I did. Well, even if you don't receive or learn any power yet, those divas and archon powers will allow you some pretty neat stuff like rapid healing, and I think you will enjoy that. That's the benefit you get for free. Well, I'm not sure what else can I tell you. It will be up to you. What will you do?
Do you tell him that he needs to name his diva in order to finish the ritual?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, in order for you to get the power, you will need to name your power. So once it presents to you, you will have to give her a name, a name.
Okay.
And accept it.
So you now have this potion that smells strongly. You know, like markers smell, but looks completely white as milk in your hands. You've been working all day on this, and in the background you can hear Oliver yelling technobabble in a voice that seems pretty stressed about what's happening, but you don't know if you could help out. What do you do?
I look at Stefan. So am I supposed to drink this
Yeah, bottom up.
now?
I'm not sure that's there is no like after effect. It will be immediate, right? You will not be comatose for an hour or something like that.
It will be immediate. Actually, you know what? Can you roll for
Okay.
yeah, roll for this to see if there could be side effects. That's going to be sides.
Just to scroll. Science.
And because you've been hurrying out a lot, you're doing this test at a -6.
-6 or craft. Or let me.
It's
craft
either
or
craft. Yeah, either one works.
It's the same. So -6.
Yes.
And that is.
Do you okay? You're now unbalanced, which means because you did the verses of Aleister Crowley. Do you take a debt to guarantee no side effects?
What does that mean?
Basically, you will win one less experience points at the end of the scenario. That will like basically the debt will be erased. It will become a credit when it's associated with an experience point. And you can only spend that credit to raise your darkness karma back. Basically, it's a system that brings you back towards balance when you're unbalanced towards light or darkness.
Yeah, why not? I will take the debt.
Okay. So you got to write it on your character sheet that you have one debt, and you even with the difficulties that you encountered. You pushed through and you were very quick, and now you've got the potion ready. So, Chris, what do you do?
I drink it.
Okay. It tastes horrible. It tastes like your insides are on fire for a couple of seconds, but then when you open your eyes again, you're on your knees and your hands are shaking. But in front of you, there's another creature haloed in light who's also on their knees, who looks exactly like you, but somewhat a more perfect version of you. You know, there's the scars are more aesthetic. The hair is trimmed just a bit better, and they're looking at you and they ask, "What is my name, Master?" What do you say?
Krista. Krista.
Okay. You have a spot on your character sheet with Diva's name. You can fit it in, and you're suddenly filled with energy. Basically, the beam turns into a sort of white fog that enters your body through every pore, and you can feel it. And then the room stops spinning, and you have this energy that you can feel inside of you that's available to you. So you're going to have, I think you start with, okay, would you say your character is more balanced between light and darkness, more leaning towards darkness or more leaning towards light?
Can he be balanced if he doesn't have a arc?
He can. He can. It's just to determine the starting.
Cool. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine I would probably be balanced.
Okay. All right. So you can write. You have 2 points of light karma. It's basically things that you can spend. Right now, you can spend it on healing yourself 4 life points, or a single verse. We're going to talk about what verse you could know. You have a free verse that comes with character creation. It's going to have to be one of Stefan's that he can teach you. But yeah, basically, right now you have a maximum of 2 light karma. Yeah, you've already written it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This part of the ritual is complete, and you can still hear yelling technobabble from the other room. What do you do?
Does it sound like they're yelling information back and forth, or does it seem more distress?
It's distressed information.
Okay. But does it sound like it's a distress that involves computers, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not distress like, oh my God, somehow a monster came through a computer and manifested in the room that's now eating people.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yes, I run Cthulhu games, so I know how it goes.
All right. So
I just look at Stefan. Are they okay in it?
Well, we should check it out. They seem agitated.
All right. So you make it back to the other room right in time for us to continue the scene. Oliver, as you're lowering the defenses, you realize that it's the thing that you're up against seems to be very methodical. Like extremely organized, but also very fast at doing what it does. And once the last firewall is dropped, the information is copied within seconds. And Crimson tells you...
I'd like to point out that I deleted all that information.
I thought you
copied it to my I copied it to my laptop, which isn't connected to anything, and then I deleted it all.
All right. So the so this happens, and basically a new message pops up that says give us put the information on this computer, put the information we're looking for on this computer, or these 3 files will be made public. This message pops up on all of the computers.
Going to type back, is there a reason these shouldn't be made public?
The video that involves you starts playing automatically.
That's unfortunate.
Meanwhile, Philip, you can see that Crimson's video is also playing in front of his computer, on his computer screen. He seems unfazed.
Oh.
I mean, Oliver does too. It is unfortunate, but for the most part, that is a fairly minor crime compared to what other things Oliver did. It just doesn't make him feel great.
Yeah, so Crimson says, you should come check this out. And when you come over to his screen, it's strange looking. It looks like you know the screensavers on the old Microsoft, which was like a brick labyrinth that's that's from a first person perspective that you were going through.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It looks exactly like this, but seen from above, and the labyrinth is just like you're basically the view is de-zooming, and the labyrinth is just immense. And Crimson says, I managed to get into their computers, but into the computer of whoever is hacking, but that's all that there is on there. There's no files. It's just a 3D labyrinth. What the?
Going to turn to Philip and say, you know a lot about labyrinths, right? Any ideas on how to solve this?
Oh God. Har har har. Okay, well, in the document, there are some choice letters missing from certain words that may or may not have something to do with this. I don't know, but I picked out the letters and the words and have them all written down. The letters that are all missing are W-E-B-M-K-H-E, and I don't know if that would be arranged to spell anything or if it's something that could be used for this labyrinth here, or I have no idea. I'm not the tech one here.
How about you write it down in chat for everyone?
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to get you to repeat it, and I was just going to write it in Word, but chat is much more convenient.
Hold on, that's not all of them, damn it. But the ones with the brackets are the letters that were missing in the writing.
That was pretty fast. I'm glad you got this pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, at first I was like, oh, that's just a typo, and then I noticed it on like another. I was like, oh, another typo, and then I kept seeing like a few more, and I was like, oh no, this is intentional.
Oh, so E4 is not just a fancy way you start a paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Exactly. I was like, E4, interesting. Wait a second.
You're missing a few.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
These are the letters that are missing.
Oh, damn.
So, What do you do? By the way, all of your characters are in this room now.
I just look at Oliver with a look of like, help, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oliver looks just as perplexed.
I don't know, can you like type it in or something? How does this shit work? What do we do? What do we do?
And before you're able to give an answer, all of the computers just shut down.
Oh,
in this room.
fuck.
Yeah.
And because you had because like night has fallen since you started here, and you hadn't bothered to turn on the lights. The screens were the only source of light in this place, and now it's just like dark.
God.
And you hear Crimson cursing. He says, "What the hell? There was no hacking software. There were no files on that."
Did you at least manage to get a location?
No, I couldn't. This must have been a red herring. There must have been something else. But damn it, they're good. Did you get the files?
No, I removed those files.
You idiots! I planted information on the third location there, a server owned by the Living that we're aware of, that was going to be our next, the next place from which we could have tried to track them. But you delete.
I did tell you I was going to do that. If you have plans, you should tell me.
By the way, I don't think you like. He would have he would have told you not to do this if you had mentioned it beforehand. He had asked he had told the person who was working here that those files were going to be used as bait.
I mean, I told him I could not let them fall into someone else's hands, and that I was going to beef up security, that was not going to be enough.
All right. Well, he
did seem pretty busy, though.
Yeah. He grunts and says, "Now we're back to square one." And he gets up and says, "I need some fresh air and a coffee," and he leaves.
That was an alarmingly casual response.
Well, he's an alarming individual.
Fair.
Now back to this labyrinth. What do you know about labyrinths? What would be the symbolic meaning of there being a labyrinth as either a red herring or a final, or not a red herring?
I mean, it could mean. It would depend on what exactly they're trying to put across. I could imagine a couple of ways that they could use a labyrinth to represent something metaphorically, particularly just as a way to really frustrate us. I don't know. Is the thing like moving through the labyrinth, or is it like at a standstill?
What do you mean?
Like the thing on the screen, are like in the mode that it's in, are we moving through the labyrinth, or is it just standing still?
Basically, Crimson accessed the what was supposed to be the computer from which this was emanating, and looking at it, just identified that there was that the only things on this computer was a 3D labyrinth, and like basically he was moving through it, and then to try to understand it, and then had the viewpoint moving away from it, but there was nothing in there.
Can I just try typing in the letters that we found into the keyboard and see if it does anything?
Yeah, you restart the computer. You type it, and it doesn't do anything.
Okay.
But you have the right intuition. It's just not the right type. So, what do you do?
Hold on. Could I try and further explore the labyrinth?
Just give me 1 second. And I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's take a short break.
Okie doke.
This is an interesting conundrum we're now facing.
Yeah, for real.
Been trying to rearrange letters to see if it makes a word.
Yeah, well, the thing that Simon typed out.
Can you also bring them?
Let me find it. I can't remember when it was mentioned because I zoned out really bad at one point. But he put this in the chat, and
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the other name of someone else, and I also forgot who.
Started with a P.
No, it was the name of Pisces.
Pisces, yeah, Pisces, yeah.
I remember something Simon said at the very beginning.
Which is?
About my robot.
Yes! It was about your robots. I did say something. I did tell you when you're at character creation when you said I want to make a robot, and I was like, and like my eyes flared up because this was one of the ideas of a scenario that I had for this game. So it sort of fits pretty well. So your characters realize that yes, there are some letters missing from the documents that that make out a name that seems to be the name of one of the 12 gods of this setting. So what do you do now?
I suppose we have to find out where they strike next.
Can we go open a browser and type that as an address at .com or something like that?
Yes, and it leads nowhere.
Yeah.
Can I do a think on where some other sites that would be potential targets for this type of attack would be?
Yeah, you can have a look at you can try to find other servers that are linked to the occult. You would need to select one of the 8 and say I want to look for a server for specifically this this organization to start looking for one of them. Some of them might not have actual servers, like the Leos, for example. There's too few members for there to be like a server running for sharing information and stuff like this.
I'll go with the living, since Crimson already mentioned that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for technologies, and it's going to take you a couple of days to find something. Okay, yeah, 23, perfect. Okay, so you start searching for places that could be potential targets, and yeah. What about the rest? What are you going to do during the 2 days that it takes for Oliver to search for this?
I will teach Chris the words.
Okay. Because there's a couple of days available, Chris, you can have a look at Chris. You can select your own verses, not just the one that Stefan knows. Here, okay. So here's a place. This is a Google Doc where all of the translated verses, which are the parts that are available to the players, are. I translated all of them, plus added a couple of my own design. So I'll let you have a look. Basically, they come in pairs, but because you only have access to the light ones right now, it's only the ones that are highlighted in blue that you can learn. It's six experience points to learn individual verses. But when you have your Archon, you'll have to learn both the light verse and the darkness verse that's associated with it. So I'll let you have a look at them to select them. What is Philip going to do during the next 2 days?
Oh God. Have a small crisis. Kind of keep an ear to the ground and see if there's any news of the things that we were shown being leaked out to the public.
They are leaked on the same forum where the Neo Hermes information was leaked, and you're going to get a phone call from Selena Murray.
Fuck. I'll answer.
So I found that new information has been leaked, apparently targeting you.
Yeah.
So you weren't the one who came up with the discovery that got you into our group.
I mean, no, I didn't come up with it, no.
All right. Well, you're in already, and you already have your both of you all three of your works completed. So even if we erased your even if we gave you a memory palace and erased all of your memories of this, you would still have access to supernatural powers. I guess you're in already, but I'm demoting you. You're no longer in charge of the. You're no longer part of the security team of the observatory, and you're. And until further notice, you're not to be sent on any other missions like the one that you're on currently. Just finish this one and come home. And the same goes for Oliver. He I can't take away his Anubis rank, but he's not to go on any missions outside of the observatory from here on out. Understood?
Understood.
she ends the call with a very saying, "I'm very disappointed in you,"
Oh.
and then hangs up.
Philip just sighs and puts the phone up and kind of just sits there for a good. He kind of sits there like, I'm gonna recollect myself, and probably ends up sitting alone for a solid like 15 minutes just processing everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you while you're processing things, you do remember one thing. One of the 8 secret organizations is called the Ecclesia. It's the one that was mentioned in your essays, and it's because your uncle found information on that on the Ecclesia that that you were able to get in there in the first place.
Okay.
Just putting it out there. Now, what is Stefan, are you working on Chris's work in black during this time?
Yeah, if he wants to connect to the Archon also, why not?
I think he said he did.
Yeah. Then I will work on a black potion. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and roll for science, and you don't have the same penalty because you have more. You only have a -3 penalty because you have more time to work on this.
-3, yeah.
Yeah.
Science.
Pisces.
Yeah. -3. What did I got? 28.
Do you take the light side or the dark?
I cannot choose. I'm not balanced anymore.
Well, you can always choose. It's just that it's not beneficial to.
No, light side since I'm. Yeah.
I'm just asking because this is probably one of the last chances I get of putting side effects, the funny side effects in place when. But it's all right. Chris will have no side effects. Chris, have you selected any verses that you're interested in?
I'm just browsing through them. I see a couple that I'm interested in.
All right. You get one pair. Wait, no. Was it 1 or 2? Oh, hold on. I can check. I think you get either 1 or 2 pairs for free. A total of 4 verses for free at character creation, and then for the rest you'll have to spend experience points. Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I said okay.
All right. Yeah, it's 4 verses for free at character creation, and also because you did your work in black, you now basically the ritual is going to be the same, and you'll have to name your Archon, and you're also going to receive 2 points of Archon karma to start with. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah. Okay. So after a couple of days, Oliver, you find the server where it's a website connected to a couple of computers that serve as a recruitment platform for the living. Basically, it's a website that talks about people who've had near-death experiences, and it talks about a community of people who've experienced strange things after this. And yeah, you based on yours or Stefan's knowledge of the 8, you find them and you breach their security, which is not very good. You find that they're based in. You know what? They're also going to be based in Paris. Let's keep going with the. No, wait. It was the Devoured that were based in Paris in the Flamel scenario. let's see, the living. I think the living have some people in.
What was it? What was the first place we went? Chicago?
Rome could be nice for living, maybe.
It wasn't Chicago. It was Cleveland. Basically, you could go to Cleveland, and if you want, you can leak the information on the server to make it more you can leak some of the information of the server to make it a prime target for hacking, if you'd like.
I will leak some fake information on the server. Have to be seen to at least trying to do my job in public.
Okay, you have a lot of points in technologies, so that's available. So yeah, you can do this. Yeah. So what are you going to do after that? What is your group going to do?
I'd vote fly to Chicago, but that's up to everyone else as well.
Did you delete all the information you downloaded to your laptop?
No, it's all on my laptop still.
I would like to examine the alchemical data that they were having.
More than welcome to. I will start printing off pages for you.
Also, members of the university would like to have access to their works back. If you would be so kind. And they will, of course, take more precautions and not have it on computers that are connected to the internet.
That is good.
Right. Okay. So, are you all going to Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. Crimson is going to accompany you again, and while you're on your way to the airport in the taxi, he tells you, "All right, so Oliver, can we agree that the speed at which this was done is not human? It has to be something else that was doing the hacking." Potentially an immaterial being like a diva, Narcon, that managed to find its way to be trapped on the internet, or possibly something else. What do you think?
I agree completely.
All right, but whatever is doing this, it seems to have an interest in attacking different organizations by revealing their information of places where that can then be attacked by other secret organizations. We've had to move everyone who was at the Sorbonne because the information released was that some Hermes were there, based on the fact that my face and that our faces were recognized. So this means it's not a Hermes group or a Neo Hermes group doing this, but another organization potentially. You just have to figure out who it is that's doing this.
It's Elon Musk, probably. Coming from the future back to haunt us, yeah.
Well,
Shit,
you
was
were
the best.
you were able to get into their computer once. If you can do it again quicker this time, I'm sure we'll be able to come up with something.
What I don't understand is that maze. It doesn't make any sense. I was able to get a plan of it rather easily. It's just there was no files on there. Who uses that much computer space just to create a labyrinth that serves no purpose? I don't.
Someone that wants to confuse us?
But yeah, probably. It's just it doesn't add up. I was expecting, I was expecting something much bigger with a lot of softwares running and hacking softwares and the facial recognition software that was used on us. But there was none of that.
It is a mystery.
Yeah. Well,
Oliver is intentionally being vague and not helpful.
you haven't told him about the about the missing letters, right?
Oliver hasn't. I don't know about the others. I assume probably not, but I'm not sure.
By the way, Philip, you before the computers shut down and the files were because the information was released on the forums, all of you are now aware that of the video that involved Crimson with the that I described earlier.
Oh yeah.
Potentially linking him to a murder. Does that change any of your relationships with Crimson?
I'm definitely way more hesitant around him, and I kind of, if I have to be in the same room with Crimson, like, I keep my distance, and I really just follow Oliver's lead on everything right now.
Okay.
Oliver is, he's got some plans for that information.
Okay. It's already been released on a public forum.
I know. But we're going to have to get rid of Crimson one way, or at some point. And this seems efficient.
All right. Okay. So, you make your way to Chicago. You reach a place. You reach the place on which the servers are hosted, and it's a familiar place. It's an old house with a rusted metal gate. And it's where you first encountered Michelle Wozniak all of those years ago. Let me see where is the image? Here it is. That's where the servers hosting this entire thing are stored. So, what do you do?
Shit, man.
By the way, the living still hate you. So you're reaching this house prepared to be up against, the living. Do you do any amount of briefing to Chris?
And Oliver, because Oliver's never actually been to this house.
Oh yeah. No, I mean concerning facing off against the living. Do you prepare?
Well, we will tell him about other groups that Hermeses and Neo Hermeses are not the only one that are dealing with the powers of divas and archons. So we'll brief him about living and about what was the other name?
The devoured.
Devoured, yeah. So basically, living are like not the necromancers, but they like to dabble with dead organic matter. So and control it. So yeah, we had an encounter with one that gone rogue, as I may say, pretty mad, and that was it. And they are also not very fond of New Hermes organization. So they can be hostile.
So, Chris, did you prepare in any special way before going near these necromancer people?
Yeah, actually, I am just picking this second verse here, and I should probably go through real quick with the XP that I was going to spend, so I have the stats. But other than that, just obviously asking. So these necromancers are what do they have that I wouldn't be prepared to deal with them having? Ask of the general group in case anyone has information.
Well, we didn't fight a lot with them, but actually there was one encounter with a dead dog that gone pretty nasty.
Oh, that's right.
Also the one with the actual murder.
Yeah, but he was
the one where Oliver died.
But the dog.
Yeah. Well, we used all kinds of physical and mental powers to stop them. So.
Are you going there to talk to them first, or are we just going to go there and?
No, we'll probably won't start the fight. If the fight occurs, they will be the one who starts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're just going to walk up to there and ask to have access to their server?
Well, I suppose. Can we hack it? Since the servers at that time are all going through the. Are they? We can first see if computers from that house are going to the phone line.
Oh yeah, Oliver does have telecommunication as his.
So if it goes through the phone, we can maybe hack it through there, or try to see if there is some cable that runs separately to the.
Yeah. Oliver, you're able to find that there is you can see the phone lines connecting to the house, and there's the phone line is accessible if you can climb all the way up there. It wouldn't give you access to the to the servers themselves, but it would give you access to all of the traffic to and from the server.
Yeah, Oliver can't climb that.
You need to get up there.
Yeah, if someone wants to climb it, Oliver will yell instructions from the ground, but
I can.
Oliver himself can't climb it.
Chris and Philip, are for a little bit of exercise?
Definitely not against it.
It would be funny if Stefan would just climb like old man, like.
It would be almost as funny as when Nicolas Flamel was
just thinking that.
Yeah,
running
just
on
jumping roofs.
I'm sorry, Chris, if we're mostly referencing previous games. I'm trying to make this game more to describe as much as possible to set it in a universe that you can understand, even if there's references to other things you don't understand yet. Are you able to follow what's happening and enjoy this game so far?
Oh, absolutely. I'm mostly following along, but I'm sort of trying to catch up on my character sheet with the verses and figuring out. Do you want me to just make the adjustments with the XP, or will you be able to retroactively make sure I didn't make a mathematical error? Or
no problem. I think you're good with the XP so far, and just add 12 experience points to the spent experience for each. No, wait, no. You got them for free. So basically, yeah, getting those verses is free because it comes with character creation. You get 2 verses right there and then, and without having to spend any XP. And then that's just if you want more than that, you'll have to spend experience points.
No, the 2 are fine. I picked out the 2 that I wanted.
Yeah. And did you also spend 50 experience points for did you also spend an extra 25 experience points for your Archon?
I didn't yet. I was going to spend that when we talked about if you wanted me to go ahead and just do the calculations now, or I don't know, some GMs want you to go through it with you to make sure all the math is done right. But I guess you can look at the sheet and figure out points spent and all that. Easy enough, right?
Yeah. I'll let's see. I'm just I'm just adding like I just added 50 experience points to do spent XP on your character sheet. What's your Archon's name?
Oh, I haven't even begun thinking about that. I'll come up with a name.
Okay, that's fine. You can take your time. The names aren't necessary until you want to talk with them, which like technically all of the players can do. All of the players can summon their Archons and Divas by speaking their name. It's just it hasn't been done yet because it hasn't come up as something that's necessary.
I got you.
All right.
And so wasn't there, in addition to you said 189, wasn't there also the cost of the first of the 2?
So basically, you like it's 189 as a human character, which means it hadn't included anything. So you have to spend the 50 out of the 189. You have to spend the 50 to get the Archon and the Diva.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, good. So, you're in front of the telephone pole. Philip, you've been given the wires to connect to it, so that your friend Oliver has access to that. So roll for athletics to climb.
Okie doke.
And unless you took climbing gear to get up a telephone pole, you're doing this at a -3.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh hell, what did I do? Okay, there we go. Athletics. I've seen it.
Taurus.
Taurus. Okay.
Middle
There we go.
column.
-3, you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you take a debt?
Sure.
Okay. You can write an extra. You can write an extra debt for your character, and yeah, you managed to make your way all the way at the pole, connect the wires. Now I'm going to ask you to roll for stealth because you're visible from the house.
Yeah. Okie doke. Let me do that. Any difficulty or just straight roll?
It's just a straight roll.
Jesus.
All right. When you fail, you see someone coming out from the house, guarded by 2. There's 2 rather tall humans, much taller than normal humans, that are wearing suits that are flanking a lady who doesn't look a day older than the previous time you met her.
Oh God.
And of course, it was in somebody else's memory, so she wouldn't remember you. But
true.
Michelle Wozniak is heading your way. The rest of the team is down at the bottom of the pole, including Oliver, who's on his computer connecting the wires that you're connecting. The rest of the team, what do you do, Theo?
So did Say again, did they notice me, or? I'm
They
assuming
noticed
they did,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michelle Wozniak is looking at you as she's making her way out of the walled garden. So right now, the rest of your team isn't visible to her, but you are.
I will try to distract her, and I will not walk directly from where we are standing, but just to the left or to the right, so I look like someone who is passing down the street and not being with the ones. And I will say, Michelle, is it you, Miss Wozniak?
She turns around to face you, and her there's a moment where she's trying to place you, but she says, "Do I know you?"
Miss Wozniak, it is me, Simon, the friend of your son. What was his son's name? From the war. We fought in the same battle.
This is coming off real
Jeez,
smooth.
You're old.
Yeah, I'm old. Yeah. Don't you remember me?
She shakes her head. She says, "I don't have a son."
Your son and I. What was his name? Fuck. The murdering Kobo. Yeah, Edward Snow. Yeah, Sweeney.
Yeah. That rascal.
Wasn't the Edward Sweeney your son?
Her eyes widen slightly, and she says, "I haven't called him like this. I haven't called him my son to anyone in decades." And she gestures to both of her guards, to both of the huge humans flanking her, and she says, "Bring him inside." And she turns back to head towards where your group is, as those two muscly guy come towards you, grunting. What do you do?
Well, I will cast a verse.
Okay.
And I think you know what verse will it be? Involving some steeds and stuff like that.
So I think you're within eyesight of Chris. So can you describe what the activation of your verse sounds like?
Yeah. Well, they will not hear me say because I'm a little bit far away, but they will probably hear a gallop of horses, and then I will appear just behind them. So I will be back with the group, but the group will be in front of me, facing the Miss Wozniak. And I say, "Well, I tried." Now, where is that sniper rifle?
I have a plan. Don't worry, guys.
Don't worry, guys. I have nothing.
Are we going to fight it now?
I really hope not. I died last time we fought one of these.
Also, you just teleported in front of them, so they're so you hear Michelle Wozniak yelling, "They're Trinities, get them!" And the two brutes start to charge towards you. What do you
You had to teleport behind us, didn't you? There goes my plan.
Roll for everybody. Roll for reflexes. We're rolling for the initiative. Except maybe I don't know if Theo, you're going to be in this fight. If you're going to if Philip is going to climb down or not.
Well, he should also roll when he will climb down. So. Reflexes.
Oh, 6. And then it's divided in half, right?
Yes, as usual.
So you add and divide, right?
Yeah, you select the one that you want, and then you divide it by 2.
Sure.
Okay. Chris, can you Oh, Chris, you also rolled reflexes. Okay, so Philip, do you take your light side or dark side?
I'll take the light side.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put you. Hold on, real quick. I'm going to drag your character. Okay, here it is. And Chris, Michelle. It's good that you suggested we bring this back to this place, because this way I get to reuse old characters that you never actually met as bad guys. Well, that you didn't physically meet. Where is here? She is. Okay, so. You should all see the initiative term thing popping up now. Please put in your initiative in there.
It has not shown up for me.
Then you need to click on the timer.
It took its sweet time.
Okay.
Do you want me to round up or down for my initiative since I'm on an odd number?
I think it always rounds. Wait, which dimension?
You just take it as a point, don't you?
True.
6.5 or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess it's rounded up. It doesn't. Yeah. Oh no. 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 You don't round it out. Round it up. Okay. And that means.
Wait, what do we do?
You take the number and half it, so it's 9 for you. Just divide it
I had
by
a
2.
moment of, dang, you rolled well.
Geez, that's impressive. I mean, it's still impressive.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to know why they're halving it down. Because it's the same when you multiply every initiative by 2, so it's the same.
Yeah, it's in order for it to be on a scale of 1 to 12, because this game really likes 12s.
12s. Yeah.
And if you roll higher than 24, you get an extra turn. You act at 12, and then you act again at your initiative minus 12. So that's why you get. And people who are initiative based can like act more on the first turn and do stuff like this. So since I rolled 17. By the way, Chris.
Second.
Chris, you are the first to act. What do you do?
So there's 2 of these brute things.
Yeah. Running towards you as fast as they can.
Okay.
They don't seem armed at all.
Okay. So how far away are they? Because I'm going to melee them. So if that's possible to do now, I'll do it now.
Yeah. You can use one action to finish covering the distance between you and them, and then you can do another action. Every action that you do gives you a -3 to the roll of every of all of the actions this turn. So, for example, if you run and attack, your attack will have a -3 penalty to it. But because of how good you are, it might not be such a problem.
Yeah, but I don't want to end up being out there next to 2 of them who may choose to stop. So I would like to wait until they get within that melee range and then attack one of them.
All right. So you're going to wait it out. So they're going to finish charging you, and yeah. And you basically trigger your action during their turn. So one of them has moved next to you. The other has moved next to, I think. Is it apparent? Is Philip really muscular? Is it apparent that that Philip is strong? Or
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
he's not like a bodybuilder, but he's definitely probably more toned than most of the people in the group.
never mind. You're still at the top of your pole of the pole, so it means they're moving in to attack Oliver instead. Chris, what do you? By the way, you can do multiple attacks as it's like multiple actions. It just gives you a -1 penalty for every time that you -3 penalty for every attack. So if you do 3 attacks in a turn, you would be at -6.
Okay, so when he gets close enough, I'm going to go in and I'm going to block his shins and kick into the back of his knees. So he's using his momentum to drive him onto the ground. But in a handstand, I'm going to continue spinning. So I'm also locking his legs after he hits the ground.
Okay, nice.
Fine.
So you are going to be using the primes and penalties system, I think.
I see.
So just give me 1 second to check the list of combat actions to see if there isn't anything that's more fitting to what you're describing. But basically, you're trying to restrain. So that's a prime. To put the target under control, but in order to take a prime, you have to take a penalty in exchange. So you have to select something like lowering your initiative or making it harder for you to do this in order to achieve your what you're doing. So I'll let you select a penalty while I'm looking for this.
Yeah, I'll take a penalty to dodging if he returns an attack because I'm choosing to grapple with him. So it's going to be easier for him to hit me.
Okay, perfect.
That would be what? Danger? As a penalty?
That's danger.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, you're using the list. You're also using the list of combat actions. So once you've overpowered him, you can use. There's a number of things that you can do. How many? Let's just start with just one action for this turn to make it simpler. Go ahead and roll with your brawl against their dodge.
Okay.
Check.
You have an 18 to
Yes.
roll.
Yes.
Yeah, he has the maximum value that the game allows for normal humans.
That's mildly impressive.
Ooh, I rolled. I'm sorry, but I rolled a 12 and an 8, and I ended up rolling higher than you. So, really out of nowhere. Oh no! Wait. The brutes don't have access to both dice. He rolled a 13. So yeah, you managed to restrain him somewhat. After that, your options are silence the opponent, take a hostage, tighten your grip to make it harder for him to escape, moving with him, and using his equipment, or strangling him, which would bring him to losing 2 life points per turn. But that's going to be it for your turn. Can you roll for another brawl, because he is going to try to move, and he's not moving using like fancy movements like you are. He's using brute strength to try to move you, and so. Yeah, so roll for He's basically trying to move out of your lock just by virtue of his strength. So go ahead and roll. Oh, geez.
Is that another brawl?
Yes, that's another brawl for you. He got lucky, but basically, he's strong, and he's strong enough to move out of your grip. But that's it for his turn. The other one is just going to straight up try to punch Oliver. Oliver, roll for either dodge or brawl.
I still don't have anything in brawl, so we'll try to dodge it. Nope.
No, you don't manage to. You take 2 points of. You take 2 points of damage. The punch just sends you flying back, and you can feel the air leaving your lungs. These aren't normal humans. Normal hand-to-hand combat is just 1 point of damage. These guys are enhanced in some way.
So, at the end of the last fight I did, I had all of my wounds and all of my bruises checked off. How much of that is healed?
There have been enough days that have passed with the regeneration of karma that all of you are at full life points and full both types of karmas, except for Stefan, who just teleported.
And so that's 4 points of damage, right?
Yeah.
Or 2?
No, you just do 2.
2.
Yeah.
Oliver's going to groan and say, "Oh God," just like last time.
Philip, it's your initiative. What do you do?
Okay. Who do I have eyes on?
Everyone from your position.
Okay. Who am I closest to? Is Michelle Wozniak pretty close to me, or who seems to be the most hostile right now?
The two brutes that are engaged with your friends.
Okay, and am I within range to attack them if need be?
If you do you have a gun?
Yes, I would have my pistol.
Yes, then yes, you're within range if you want to use firearms under Sagittarius.
Okie dokie.
How many attacks?
I'm not gonna play my luck too hard. I'm gonna do just one.
Okay.
God damn it.
You're not as good as this with firearms as you're with weapons. Maybe it's best if you come down from the pole.
Yeah.
But yeah, you shoot and miss. Also, with that gunshot, anyone else who was still in the street is going to start running away from you. Oliver, it's your turn. What do you do?
You won't kill civilians.
Is there anything Oliver can use as a weapon lying around?
There's your computer that is rather heavy because it's the year 2000, and let's see. Oh, you can roll tactics to find an improvised weapon. It's as described in the list of combat actions.
Can I pull a screwdriver out of my electrical kit?
Yes.
Or do I have to roll tactics for that as well?
No, you don't.
Okay.
You have your screwdriver.
I'm just going to pull that out because I was probably sitting on the ground since I'm connecting weird cables to other weird cables.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try to stab the one that punched me.
Okay. Roll for weaponry.
That'd be a -3, right?
Yes, because you pulled a weapon. Yes.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. all of those high rolls today. What the hell?
You're stealing all my high roll juice.
Yeah. You stab him in the eye. And you would expect shouts of pain from someone who's just been stabbed in the eye, but it's more of a like you're an inconvenience. Stefan, it's your turn. What do you do?
I'm sorry to ask, but I had a phone call. So what is Michelle doing, actually?
Michelle is standing back, and she is currently looking intensely at the brute who's just been stabbed in the eye, and you can see that the screwdriver that's inside of his like that's planted in his brain is slowly being pushed out, and his eye is regenerating, and you can basically that's what's happening.
Okay, so she's not casting any verses or murmuring something.
You can roll for clairvoyance, please.
Sure. Clairvoyance, go around.
Virgo, first column.
Yeah, I see it. I'm just scrolling it. 18.
18. Yeah. You can feel this heat radiating from her, and she's using some of her powers to heal her, like the people working with her from a distance.
So, fuck. Can I then cast a verse? I thought of stealing her verse, but that won't help us at the moment. But I will try to stop her and actually...
And also, she's not using a verse. It's a different power.
Okay. So I will try to, again, use the verse I already used, and that is to paralyze her and command her to stop.
Okay.
So this will last one round, and or hopefully it will stop them for one round. I'm not sure, but I will say, for it's hideously weak and horrible to reject every part of his personality and responsibility. This sentence seems out of place, but yeah, she will be unable to act, and then I will persuade her to call off the big ones, so we can talk.
Okay. Roll for I don't know. Like you gotta offer her something in exchange in order to roll for persuasion. Like a really good reason why not to attack you.
Well, I will say we are only here to talk regarding the servers. We are Trinities, but we are bringing information about Hermes. You're willing to trade? Let's talk.
Okay. Roll with persuasion, but you're at a -9 in total. You're without counting the bonuses from your verse. You're at a -9 because of how difficult it is to convince the living to cooperate.
Sure. So then it's -6 with my +3 from verse. Okay.
Okay.
9. Nope.
No. All right. So that's the end of the.
She is still paralyzed for this for next turn, and she cannot attack for one round.
Yeah. All right. So you So you, while you're so it's Chris, is going to be your turn in the second, but all of you see Crimson. Wait. It's a good idea. Crimson asks you, can you hold one of them down for a second, Chris?
Wait, is he's with us?
Yeah,
Oh,
Crimson
fuck.
is. he's
then I wouldn't say that to her that we are Neo-Hermesis.
Yeah, you could have said just Hermes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chris, can you hold one of their arms? Can you hold one of their arms still for a couple of seconds?
Yeah, I will. The guy I'm fighting, I will actually go into a handstand and then grab him under his arms with my legs and try and sort of slam him onto the ground, more into like a pinning move with my weight coming up on top of his arms.
Okay. Do you do just this action this turn?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Brawl. And yeah, even by rolling a 1, you're rolling higher than I am. You manage to block one of them, one of his arms, like completely, and slam him against the ground. And you can see that Crimson comes towards him, opens his mouth, and like bites into that person's flesh, and takes a chunk off and swallows it, and you can see that for a couple of seconds his eyes become dead and white, and his skin becomes paler. You can see the veins under it, and he seems to stop moving for a second, and then he returns to normal. Smiles, and he's going to charge at Michel Wozniak. It's hurt. It's the turn of the two brutes. So one of them is going to try to get out of his One of them is just going to try to get up from the hold you have him in again.
So brawl against his strength?
Yes. And I just rolled a 22. And okay, since you're balanced, you can choose between your light and darkness dice. So I assume you select the darkness, and you keep him pinned for another round. In the meantime, the other one is going to. I know what the other one is going to do. The other one reaches for the pole and starts to shake it with his immense strength. So, Theo, I'm going to ask you to roll athleticism against his strength, and if you manage to roll higher than 20, you manage to stay on the pole.
That's how I've been rolling tonight. I'm not expecting much. Oh shit!
Perfect.
Holy shit!
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, you stay on the pole exactly, like perfectly. Like you were about to slip, but your grip stayed tight. And yeah, you finished connecting all of the cables that Oliver was asking you to connect. It's now your turn, Philip. What do you do?
So is everybody still down the pole? There isn't anybody up towards where I am?
No, nobody's climbing up.
How easy would it be to go down the pole and do an attack, or would that be two separate actions?
It would be two separate actions requiring an athleticism check, where you're just like sliding down, and another one would be an attack.
Okay, I'm gonna try it just because I'm desperate.
Okay, athleticism -3.
Let's try.
Do you take your light dice or your darkness dice?
I'll take the light one.
Okay, so you don't fall on him. Instead, you fall to the side and like smack like you know the bone at the bottom of your back.
Oh yeah,
that
the
slams
tailbone.
against the ground. Yeah, you take 4 damage, but because you're a fused trinity, it doesn't hurt as much as it would a normal human. It's not a third of your life points.
Thank God.
and then you can
That shit hurts.
and then you can attack. Are you drawing? Are you drawing? Yeah. Are you drawing your sword?
Oh yeah.
Then you're rolling weaponry at -6 in total.
Okay. And weaponry. Let's see.
You only have to roll the minimum 12 to succeed.
Okay, so weaponry at -3.
6. -6.
-6. That's right. That's right. Okay. Let me. Hold on. There we are. My brain's being weird today.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You succeed.
Oh. Yay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just saw your roll. Okay. Thank God.
Yeah, you slash across his arm, and yeah, it's the same whenever you're fighting the living. It's this unnerving, like you slash across his chest, and you can see some of his organs are starting to pour out, which merely seems to inconvenience him.
Yeah, that would.
Not anything else. Oliver, it's your turn. What do you do?
Is there one still in front of me?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to stab with the screwdriver again.
Okay. Roll weaponry.
14? Or no. Sorry.
No.
9?
No.
14
Yeah,
is yours. Yeah,
yeah.
9.
You need a minimum of 12 to be able to hit something. So you miss basically. Stefan, it's your turn. What do you do?
I'm out of ideas. I don't have weapons, and I'm missing 2 of my good verses. We still didn't rewrite those. Can I actually? Can I cast this verse that gives you a primer +3 to somebody else? At somebody else?
Yeah. I think so. Which one is it?
Just let me find it. It's an extra therapist. Nope. Distance. One living being. No. That's not one. I don't have. It is the name 16 Devons.
Yes.
Is it only working on me, or? Let me open the.
No, it's it has to be cast on you, unfortunately.
Sure. Then I will cast this one on her. This is not Aleister. I will say, off Hermod, it must be said that the road for 9 nights through the well is dark and deep, such that he saw nothing until he arrived at the river goal and crossed its bridge. And I will try to make her vision reduced, like in a murky night sky. Yeah. So I will try to obscure her vision, if that helps.
So immediately you see, like, even from a distance, you can see like that there's a sort of veil that passes in front of her eyes, obscuring her vision, and she starts to yell and flail a bit. Just as Crimson reaches her, and Crimson puts his hand on hers, like he grabs her hand, and she shrieks out. And you can you can see that from the place where he touched her hand starts to age rapidly, and it continues all throughout her body and until it reaches her face, and then she starts to lose hair, rapidly shrieking. And Crimson turns to the other two and yells at them, "Retreat! Retreat, or she will be, or I will finish absorbing all of the unnatural lifespan that she has, and she'll feel her age." And she yells the same. She yells, "Stop! I'll do anything. stop. And the two brutes start to like back out slowly. Chris, it's your turn in the initiative. What do you do?
If they appear that they're complying, I will just stand ready to attack them if they change their mind or something happens.
All right then. Crimson just says, return. Crimson yells at. I think he's going to yell at Oliver and says, Do you have what you need? Can we go now?
I mean, unless you have a really long cable, we kind of have to stay in range of the cable.
You see a sort of like smile coming across his face, and he says, "So what you're saying is we have no other choice but to take care of them, right?"
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to do this without dropping bodies. So inconvenient to have to clean them up afterwards. But, yeah, I mean, you can't leave.
You are in the middle of the streets, and yeah. So here's what he's going to do. He tells Michelle, "Go away and don't come back to this house. If you do, I'll finish what I started." And when he releases her, you can see that the aging process stops but does not reverse.
Ooh.
And basically, yeah, she starts to retreat. She goes up to her car, and the two brutes who barely fit in the back seat are going to retreat as well. And he turns to you and he says, "All right, we're done." And he wipes some of the blood that he has on around his mouth.
Yes, we're done, but someone fired a gun, so
Whoops.
really need to hope that this ends quickly.
Forgot about that.
You don't you have contacts with the police in order to make sure that these sorts of things don't go out of hand when you're killing Neo-Hermes?
Generally, I don't. Well, I've never gunned down a Neo-Hermes in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And I haven't been Jackal long enough to learn all of these contacts yet. I mean, I'll talk to them when they get here, but we'll just hope that my contacts I do have work.
Crimson says, "Just go inside and secure the servers. I'll take care of the police."
No, you won't. No.
No. How about no, you fucking burnt piece of celery?
He shrugs and he heads inside. It's a 2-story stone house with a newly renovated black what's it called? Ceiling. Roof. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah. Who's gonna stay out here? Who's gonna go inside?
Philip will stay out.
I'll go inside. I'm eager to see if there's any new decoration except that dog head and stuff like that.
Yeah. Basically,
and to see the basement finally, maybe.
So okay, yeah. Oh yeah, you didn't get to see the basement when you came here.
We were gently escorted out here last time.
Okay, so the first floor basically looks somewhat normal. The ground floor seems normal. When you go upstairs, there's the servers that you came here for. But when you head off downstairs, it's gruesome-ish. You can find it's in this place that you find multiple body parts that are being worked on from different bodies, including some humans. It's basically Frankenstein's lair if he had, as many bodies as he wanted to experiment upon. But in this place, one of the things that you find is a military jacket with the place where the insignia should have been torn off.
Yeah.
So you finally found the one of the
evidence
clues.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is. Yeah. It is the Second World War, right?
First World
World War. Yeah.
You would have been 83 if it was near the beginning of the war.
Yeah. Should we stop here, or?
Oh yeah, it's 6 o'clock. So I hope everyone's had a fun game.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, sorry for
Chris?
being kind of out of it. Like I said, my brain's been in a weird spot, so I've been like on and off dissociative.
It's understandable, like I know you're going through a lot right now, so don't worry about it.
But it was really fun. Just want y'all to know that I'm not like an asshole player who doesn't pay attention on purpose. My brain's weird as hell today.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. What about you, Chris? Was that? I'm sorry. I call people by their character's name more often.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I had fun. It was great.
Okay. I guess we'll see. I'll see everyone next Tuesday. Also, by the way, you already have all of the clues necessary to find where the attacks are coming from. But I'll give you some. But maybe someone will figure it out before next week. But otherwise, I'll see everyone next week for the hacking. Any questions before we stop the recording?
I'm happy this is finally not cursed and we can play it.
Yeah, for real.
I'm happy this is finally uncursed and we can play it.
Yeah. It's been a while.
A hot minute.
Yeah. I'm happy I finally got to play. We're finally playing a game with enough hacking that Oliver can show off his specialty, because it's. We had going back in the past so much. We don't have access to computers and hacking as well. So it's a good thing that we're doing this more.
Yeah, can't really have Nicholas Flamel hacking a firewall.
Oliver's pretty good at lying too.
Yeah.
There's always a need for that.
Right.
So next game, hopefully we'll finish off this scenario and we can get started on the Julius Caesar verse.
Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to be a part of this story, we are currently looking for more players and game masters to play new games in this setting and on this channel. You can also be a part of the story by having your face added to the cast of characters. I draw all of the images for this game, and you can commission me to make you into an NPC. If you like the style and you want a drawing like that of yourself, or if you want to contribute to the project, you can contact me through the links in the description. Finally, if you want to keep up with all of the adventures on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so you can get a notification each time we upload the next episode of this story. And it would be very nice of you to like and share the video to help this channel grow. Have a nice day, everyone.